Every game in this weekend series is a chance for the O's to make up some ground. You don't want to miss any of this one. It's the O's and the A's. Game 1 up next on MASN. It's the Orioles on MASN from Camden Yards in downtown Baltimore. It's the Orioles and the Oakland Athletics. Tonight it's the opening game in a 3-game weekend series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. Mike Bordick in a moment. And as the Orioles begin play tonight, they are on the outside looking in for a playoff berth with 36 games to go. But they are in position to make a run. To sum it up, it is getting late early, and the Orioles are ready for the challenge. As we look ahead to the remaining schedule, it's broken down by series. The Orioles have 3 series against the teams outside of their division. Of the 11 remaining, they have 5 at home. 17 games here left at Camden Yards against teams with a winning percentage of .504. Of the 11, the teams are winning percentage of .526. That is the toughest in all of baseball. They have 6 series left on the road for a total of 19 games, a winning percentage of .545 by opponents, and 8 series remaining against the AL East, 26 of the 36 games remaining in the division. And as you can see, the AL East all above 500 except the Toronto Blue Jays. So for the Orioles, Mike, it all gets going tonight. It's right in front, but they have to get it done.
Yeah, certainly the toughest schedule going, strength of schedule wise, but I'll tell you what, the Orioles proved that they could overcome last year. They made a great run down the stretch as they chased the Yankees for that top spot in the division, but they played themselves into a wild card. So I think they're prepared for this. As Buck would say, there's a track record for this team. So, and they're really good at taking one game at a time. They have blinders on. They're not looking forward too far or behind what had happened over the weekend. They're talking about this game tonight, and I think that's why they're going to have success down the stretch. They've played themselves into this position. They deserve to be here. They believe that, and they're playing good baseball. Even though they've run into a rough stretch here recently, last week or so, a lot of things are coming together. Their starting pitching is stabilized. Their offense is there for them. There's no weaknesses in the offense. I think they're healthy, so they can be productive in that regard. So a lot of positives, and I think they're ready to make this big push.
And along those lines, they're looking to build on the big win against Tampa Bay on Wednesday night following yesterday's day off, and they may have the exact pitcher on the mound they need to make a run.
Yeah, Bud Norris has really stepped up. Take a look at his numbers. 4 starts with the Orioles, 3-0 record, so they play great behind him. 3.57 earned run average in the 22 2/3, 20 strikeouts. He's a power pitcher, great fastball with a hard slider, but they score runs when he pitches.
So tonight it's the opening game in the 3-game series against the Athletics as Bud Norris and the O's take on STRAILY and the A's. We're coming back to Camden Yards. Lineups and first pitch are next. brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Orioles in athletics on this Friday night at Camden Yards. The Birds' final series of this 9-game homestand. Birds so far 3-3 in the 9 games. Here's our Train game time temperature. Train is celebrating its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It's hard to stop a train, really hard. 78 degrees, the wind's out of the north at 8 miles an hour. Still a bit humid at 43%. We have partly cloudy skies at Camden Yards. And here's a look at the Athletics lineup for tonight. COCO Crisp, Jed Lowrie, and Josh Donaldson with Brandon Moss in that cleanup spot. YOENIS Cespedes is in left field. 20 home runs and 58 RBIs for Cespedes. They are a much different team when he's in the lineup and swinging the bat well. Seth Smith will be in right, then Alberto CALLASPO will DH. Eric Sogard at second. Stephen Vogt will catch and bat ninth.
And here's a look at the scouting report tonight for Bud Norris. He is looking to keep it going. The Orioles have won all 4 of Bud Norris's starts this season since his trade from the Astros, and he's going for his 10th win of the season overall, which would be a career high. He's got the power arm fastball that he works from 92 to 95, and that hard slider that he uses to both lefties and righties. You will see an occasional changeup from Bud Norris, and he has been getting outstanding run support. This Orioles offense fires up when he's on the hill, averaging over 6 runs a game. Here's a look at the numbers for Bud. 26 games this year, 26 start he's making tonight at 9-10 record with a 3.93 earned run average, 111 strikeouts in 149 innings. Opponents hitting 278, lefties up to 302, and the righties hard to get to that slider at 248.
And as is the case over a long baseball season, Mike, at times it's when you play teams, not necessarily which team you're playing. And the Orioles may be getting the Athletics at the right time. I
think so. I mean, the Athletics are struggling a little bit offensively, especially hitting with runners in scoring position. They've had some tough injuries that they've really struggled with. So this could be the time to get the Oakland Athletics.
Bob Melvin, their skipper. The A's with a record of 71-55. They are trailing Texas for the division lead, but they are one of the 2 teams in position for a wild card at the moment, as Buck Showalter's club is 3 games back. The Indians are between Oakland and the Orioles. They are 2.5 games back. The Orioles and the Indians are tied in the loss column at 58, but the Indians have played 1 more game and won that game. So here is COCO Crisp, the veteran switch hitter, will lead off. Lowrie and Donaldson will follow. And again, catching teams at the right time. COCO's batting just .189 in his last 48 games, and Norris gets ahead of him.
Oh, you talk about Bud Norris's fastball and his hard slider, and here he starts the game off with a changeup, a rare changeup from Bud Norris.
And just misses outside. Brian Onora, veteran umpire, has the plate tonight. Bud now in his 5th big league season. He has 37 major league wins. And it's outside for ball 2.
A lot of this Oakland A's offense depends on COCO Crisp at the top of this lineup. He is the base stealer on the team. He has power potential. You saw the 11 home runs, and he's led off the game a few times with a leadoff home run.
And the call is high, so 3-1 on COCO Crisp. Bud is coming off a start last Saturday against Colorado in which he walked 3 batters, but he got the win. And that's ripped in the right field for a base hit. So Crisp gets ahead, looks for a fastball, and he pulls it in the right field for a leadoff single.
And here's a look at the defense behind Norris tonight. MCLOUTH, Jones, and Markakis once again in the Orioles outfield with Hardy and Roberts up the middle. Machado and Davis on the corners with Matt Wieters once again behind the plate.
So here is Jed Lowrie, another switch hitter. There are 3 switch hitters in this Oakland lineup tonight, and the only left-handed batter available that is not in the lineup is Josh Reddick, and that's because he has a sprained right wrist. He is active, but he is not playing. So here is Lowrie. And he shows bunt, and he bunts at third base side. Pretty good one. Norris off balance throw, and he got him. Bud Norris cuts in front of Machado, makes the play. Getting the out. Crisp is at second base, but now 1 down.
Quite an athletic play right there from Bud Norris. I think he's been watching Manny Machado on these bunts down the line. Take a look. Nice placement on the bunt. Machado about ready to make the play, but beautiful barehanded athletic throw by Bud Norris to get the out.
And that is very un-Oakland-like, sacrificing in particular this early in the game. The Athletics on the year, that's just their 18th sacrifice bunt. Of course, that doesn't go along with the Moneyball philosophy of Billy Beane. They are 13th out of the 15 teams, so only 2 teams with fewer bunts than the Athletics. So here is Donaldson, one of their hotter hitters.
You think that they might be trying to push it a little bit offensively because they've been struggling in certain situations, especially runners in scoring position. So that might be just something to try to spark this offense as they embark on a really tough road trip here, coming to Baltimore and then on to Detroit.
Donaldson at 295. He's got 43 multi-hit games on the year. And a high fly ball to left, not that deep. McLouth will come in on it. And Nate's got it for the second out.
Take a look at Bud Norris. Now, he's been struggling a little bit with his off-speed stuff since the trade. As an Astro, 286 on the fastball and 284 on his off-speed pitches. As an Oriole, his fastball has been dominant at 245. But the off-speed pitches, maybe sitting on that. 375 batting average on his slider and change.
Well, what that might suggest is maybe he's predictable. Maybe he's tipping. That's an alarmingly high number. You're right.
It really is. He has such an effective fastball. In a lot of cases, sometimes off-speed pitches speed up their bats, and I think they're finding some holes in that regard.
Brandon Moss now the cleanup hitter, and he'll take strike one. Moss is at 241. He's got 20 home runs, 56 RBIs. See, the shift is on against him with Hardy on the second base side of the bag. Machado, the lone defender, on the third base side. Ripped, and a deflection off the glove of Chris Davis in the right field. That'll be a base hit, and the Athletics get the lead. A 2-out base hit by Brandon Moss. Davis nearly gloved it, but it ricocheted into the outfield, and Oakland breaks on top.
And the sacrifice fly proves to be successful. It's a bullet off the bat of Moss. Nice effort by Chris Davis, and right behind him, Brian Roberts. Diving play, but the deflection lets that ball get out into right field, and COCO Crisp able to score from second.
Now, the Athletics, a struggling team. They are 8-12 in their last 20 games, lost 3 of their last 5 coming in, and play for a run. They get that run with a 2-out base hit. Now, YOENIS Cespedes, it was at 231 on the year, but 20 home runs and 58 RBIs.
Very dangerous hitter, even though his batting average isn't up there. Make mistakes, and he'll make you pay.
And a vicious cut, he fouls it back. Well, Cespedes, over his last 21 games, has 5 home runs and 15 RBIs. Well, the Orioles now will have to play catch-up. One is right there at the knees for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Well, Bud Norris throws so many fastballs and is aggressive in the zone with it. He's got to be able to locate, and that was a well-located pitch down and away to the dangerous Cespedes.
Well, Cespedes down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. One of the things that the Athletics had struggled with on their just concluded homestand, Bob Melvin was very upset with the situational hitting, the inability to come up with a big hit, especially with 2 outs, and the inability to get on top. They have done all those things well in this inning.
Well, they have. They've made their adjustments, and who knows, maybe a little jumping by the head coach kind of got that offense sparked.
And he went too far, couldn't check in time. Wieters will tag him out. Oakland gets a run, strands one. We'll let to the bottom of the first. Oakland 1, and here come the Birds. The bottom of the first, and a look at the Southwest Airlines starting lineup. Nate McLouth, Manny Machado, and Chris Davis with Adam Jones in the cleanup spot. Matt Wieters will catch, Nick Markakis in right. J.J. Hardy at shortstop, having an outstanding month of August with 4 home runs and 7 RBIs to go with that .322 average. Ryan Flaherty will DH. Ryan Roberts at second base will bat ninth.
And here's the scouting report tonight for Dan STRAILY. Yeah, the rookie, he's got a great arm, and he's proving this year that you give him an extra day, and he's going to put up some good numbers. 5-2 with a 2.77 on 5 days rest, which is what he's doing tonight. 1-5 with a 5.96 on just 4 days rest. 4-pitch mix. He's got the fastball, slider, curve, and change. Fastball, slider, his best pitches, and he gets absolutely no run support. Make it 4 runs now since they scored in that last inning in 33 innings of work for Dan STRAILY. Here's the numbers on the year. .422 earned run average with 92 strikeouts in 113 innings.
And he falls behind McLouth. 2 balls and no strike. Nate with a 2-for-4 game in the win on Wednesday. Why is that important for him? Well, he snapped an 0-for-17 drought with those 2 base hits. He is the catalyst at the top of the Orioles lineup. Machado on deck, and then Davis in the first. And there's a strike. Nate took it all the way.
And Nate McLouth really important at the top of this lineup. The Orioles stolen base leader. There's great numbers. Look at the numbers versus the A's. .563 with a home run. Critically important for him to get on and put together good at bats at the top of this lineup.
Buck Showalter's club 68 and 58, and they have gone 33 and 15 in the games in which McLouth has scored a run, and he pops this one foul back this way, and the count will run full. The Orioles are now 9-9 in August after the win on Wednesday against Tampa Bay. They have not yet had that surge that Buck Showalter knows is critical for a team that eventually qualifies for postseason. Their longest winning streak on the year is 5 consecutive wins, and that's it. And the 3-2 is outside, ball 4. Close pitch. Nick looked it over, and the Orioles get a leadoff walk.
Here's a look at the Athletics defense behind STRAILY tonight. Cespedes, Crisp, and Smith in the outfield. Jed Lowry at short. Sogard at second base. Donaldson, strong third baseman. And Moss at first with Vogt behind the plate.
And here is Manny Machado, who's having a big-time year. .294, 11 home runs, and 58 RBIs. Leads the Orioles in base hits with 159, and that is 3rd most in the American League. And McLouth chased back to first. Now this might be a situation, Mike, for Nate McLouth. STRAILY is not very quick to the plate. There have been 10 steals on him on the year. And Nate, of course, leading the Orioles with those 28 stolen bases.
Well, you know, he's certainly aware to try to spark this Orioles offense. Great numbers with the steal attempts, good percentage, and with Wayne Kirby, the first base coach, on the times. If they pick any kind of tell up, Nate McLouth will be off and running.
And the fastball's too tight. Vogt out to the mound to talk to STRAILY, who has started the game with 4 of 6 pitches out of the strike zone.
STRAILY a little bit too quick there. Maybe the concern about Nate McLouth at first base has really sped him up.
Nate has not run as much in the second half as he did in the first half of the year, but he is still a threat. So if you're a pitcher, you have to respect that. His last stolen base was August 11th in San Francisco, and that's outside again, ball 2. Now, Mike, if you're the Orioles here, what you need to be is patient, right? I mean, he hasn't shown yet that he has any command at all.
Especially, yeah, early in the game. Lead-off walk. Hey, make him throw some strikes. Here's a look. 10 for 15 stolen bases. He does have the 1 pickoff.
And Machado in a good hitter's count at 2-0. And there's a strike, borderline pitch, and 2-1. Manny has 24 hits in the month of August, 2 of those for home runs. And he is tied for 5th in the American League in extra base hits with 57 out of that number 2 spot in the batting order. He has batted 2nd all year. And a calling card throw to first. McLouth is back easily. All right, Buck Showalter says, Mike, there's no longer a predictable fastball count, 2-1 or not. That's what the count is. Weak ground ball towards short. Lowry has one play. He'll go to first, and that worked almost as a sacrifice, as Machado's able to advance the runner because the ball was hit so weakly. So Lowry takes the shore out, and McLouth is in scoring position with one down.
And like you said, it was not a fastball. The little backup slider that jammed Manny Machado.
Chris Davis, the other night, hit his 46th home run, and it landed on Utah Street, one of those monster Davis blasts.
Oh, it sure was. It was a towering shot deep onto Utah Street.
So leading the major leagues in home runs with those 46, and he has 116 RBIs. And bounce foul. Well, the home run log, as Crush is trying to catch Roger Maris at 61. He's on pace for 59, so he's right there.
Sure is. 46. Of course, at the time Roger Maris had 50, ended up with the 61. 59 would be a great number as well.
The Orioles' single season record he's chasing is well within reach. That is 50, so he's just 4 away from that, 5 away from breaking it. And he looks over a breaking ball low, 1-1. Very unusual shift on for Chris Davis. The shortstop Lowry's on the shortstop side, but the second baseman Sogard, he's over there on the outfield grass. There's a lot of room right past the second base umpire, Jordan Baker. Ball and a strike on Davis, one down. And pop foul out of play.
The Athletics are a pretty aggressive defensive team as well. They can incorporate a lot of shifts. They'll move around. I wouldn't be surprised if that shift ends up changing throughout the game. Saw Tampa Bay. They're aggressive with their defensive shifts as well, and they change during counts. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Melvin has those kind of tricks up his sleeve as well.
A ball and 2 strikes as Straley gets ahead. And it's high. Of course, what the Athletics, I guess, are concerned with here, and why Lowry is where he is, they don't want McLouth to get too big of a secondary lead since he's already in scoring position. So by having Lowry there, McLouth has to turn around and pay attention to him.
Well, they must see something in the tendencies. I can't imagine that they just leave a hole open if Chris Davis shows that he hits ground balls the other side of second base. You know, I mean, they can still keep Nate McLouth close if he's on the second base side of second.
Well, Chris hits a lot of ground balls in that vacated area we just saw. So from 1-2 to 3-2 with Jones on deck. And the payoff pitch is high and foul. He got a lot of it, but he hit it foul.
Well, like almost every team that the Orioles are going to be facing down the stretch, the Oakland Athletics are chasing the Texas Rangers for the division lead. They've anchored themselves pretty well in the wild card spot, but I think they've got their sights on overtaking Texas, and I think even the Orioles, their sights are overtaking first place in their division as well.
This ball slicing down the left field line towards the stands, and it falls foul. No play for either Cespedes or Donaldson. And again, vote out with Straley.
Certainly have to be on the same page when it comes to pitching Chris Davis, and with a runner at second base, mix up your signs possibly throughout the count so that there aren't signs relayed in or locations changed.
Well, the Orioles leading RBI man trying to get this score even in the first. And the 3-2 is inside, ball 4, and he walked him. What an at-bat for Chris Davis, down 1-2 after 3 pitches, and he works the walk. 2 walks in the inning and 2 on for the Birds.
Well, working Dan Straley early in this ball game. Pitch count getting up there already. Some good at bats. A couple good base on balls. Pitch Chris Davis very tough. Hard in, soft away. Managed to work his way onto first base.
Adam Jones, whose bat has heated up on this homestand. He has a base hit in each of the games, so a 6-game hitting streak. Batting .407 on the homestand, 11 out of 27. He bats here with 2 on and 1 out. And slice foul the other way. Well, Adam Jones and Manny Machado are both on pace for 200 hit seasons. Now, Manny's at 159. He's averaging 1.26 hits per game, so he's on pace for 204. Adam is at 1.25, 2 hits behind Manny. He's on pace for 202 hits. The Orioles have never had in any season since 1954 2 hitters in the same year with 200 hits.
Pretty impressive. It's almost like they're feeding off each other. Now, of course, this Orioles offense is a pretty special group. A lot of positive things happening, but when you have 2 players chasing 200 hits, they motivate themselves. It isn't individual. It's all team-oriented right now, and I'm sure they're having fun with it.
STRAILY gets ahead of him 0-1. And a tapper foul. Well, there have been 6 200 base hit seasons, Mike, in the history of the franchise, and here's where those players were in their respective years.
Yeah, Al Bunbury right there in 1980, 155. Cal Ripken Jr. a couple times on this date, 150 and 164. B.J. Surhoff at 172. And Tejada's on that list as well, 2 times in 04 and 06.
Tejada in 06, that was the franchise record. He had 214 hits in that season. The 0-2 to Jones is popped up. Shallow left. Cespedes was a mile back. He's coming in on it. Now gets there. And he's got it for the 2nd out. Cespedes respecting the power of Adam Jones, playing very deep, but Adam hit it so high, Cespedes able to get in on it for the 2nd out. Nice crowd gathering on fireworks night at Camden Yards. Final homestand, or final series of this homestand. Orioles will have Monday off, and then they'll head to Boston, New York, and Cleveland. So it doesn't get any easier.
No, it doesn't.
Here's Matt Wieters, who's having a real good homestand. 5 out of 19, and 3 of those 5 hits are home runs. He has 2 on, now with 2 men down. And it's inside 1-0. STRAILY has not won in his last 5 starts. He's 0-4 with a no decision. He's had a strange year. From May the 21st to July 9th, he didn't lose. He went 5-0 in 9 starts. But since July 9th, he hasn't won.
Well, he isn't getting much run support. That's really the key to that, because he has been pitching better. His earned run average, believe it or not, is lower since the All-Star break than it was prior. He's just not getting any run support. 3 runs, well now 4 since they scored in that last inning, in the 33 innings that he's worked. I mean, it's absolutely nothing. Below 1 per start.
Wieters lays off. Now here's the STRAILY breakdown on the year pre and post All-Star game.
Yeah, exactly what we were talking about. His record 6-2 before the All-Star break and a 4.28 earned run average. And there you go, post 4.09, but no wins in his 6 starts with the 0-5 record. And that's that run support we're talking about. For the All-Star break, 4.28.
Wieters had the green light on 3-0, fouls it back. So what you're telling me is it's hard to win if they average less than a run per game for you?
Yeah, it sure is. Yeah, it sure is. You need some run support.
Wieters with 19 home runs, 62 ribbies on the year.
Well, it helps a pitcher's confidence as well. Makes them kind of settle in and feel more comfortable in a ball game. They're not forcing the issue. If you can put some marks up early in a ball game, most generally a starting pitcher will relax.
Another pop-up. This one third base side and foul ground. Donaldson has a play, and he's got it. STRAILY pitches out of it. He pitches around the 2 walks, and the Orioles strand 2. Well, after the 2nd at Camden Yards, Bud Norris and the O's down by a run. The trivia fact: since joining the O's, Bud Norris is 3-0 in his 4 starts, and the Orioles are averaging 6.35 runs per game of support. And with the Astros, he was 6-9, despite just 3.50 runs support per 9 innings. So Norris, in 21 starts with the Astros, average run support, but he's getting a lot more support with the Orioles, and as a result, as a starter, hasn't lost.
Well, I'll tell you what, he was probably the happiest guy in baseball being traded over here to the Baltimore Orioles, obviously in a playoff race, but being able to pitch with the best defense in the game behind him, and also an offense that can explode and put huge numbers up, and that's what they've done when he's taken the hill.
He allowed a run on a couple of singles in the first. And he'll go to work on Seth Smith, Alberto CALLASPO on deck, and then Eric Sogard in the Oakland second. Smith at 241, 6 home runs, 33 RBIs, and he is in an extended slump. Well, Norris gets ahead of him 0-1, and the Orioles are shifting mightily with Manny Machado out there in shallow right field. Roberts shading up the middle a bit, and Hardy the lone fielder on the other side, and Smith fouls it straight back.
You know, we talk about Manny Machado and kind of reinventing third base with the depth that he can play, and he plays deeper than anybody in a shift as well, because he has great range and he has that cannon for an arm, so that can afford this Orioles defense play a little bit deeper with Manny back there.
And Norris gets ahead of Smith 0-2. And it's low. Smith is 0 for his last 12 and is in a 5 for 51 drought. That is a 0.98 clip. And the 1-2 pitch is just outside. Close pitch. Bud Norris on the year as an Oriole has averaged 8.2 strikeouts per game. In his career, he has averaged 8.4, so he's keeping right in line with his career numbers as Smith fouls it off. Norris was pitching to an ERA of 3.93 in his 21 starts with the Astros, and he's at 3.91 with the Orioles. What does that spell? Consistent.
Exactly.
And another foul ball back.
That's what Buck Showalter liked the most. Now Chili Davis right up on that top rail. You talked about the struggles with Smith. He's paying attention to everything, though, and that's what happens through the course of a ball game, through the course of a season. Hitters go into slumps, and they rely on their hitting coach to pick up maybe certain things that you may be doing wrong. And when you do go in the tunnel and you start working on that, hitting coach right there, watching every move. Might be his front side opening up too soon, or his hand positioning in the start. You saw the A's hitting coach Chili Davis looking on intently.
There's a bouncer into the shift. Machado charges, and he'll get it to Davis for the out. So 1 away, and that'll be a 5-3 as the outfielder, who was the third baseman, gets the putout, and 1 away. Well, fans, you can win a hitting lesson with Adam Jones. Join Masson's Touch 'em All rewards for your chance to win the grand prize. Just go to massonsports.com to sign up. So a 5-3 from right field.
On a slow roller. So a tough play for Manny Machado. He had to cover some tremendous amount of ground out there. A lot of grass, a lot of real estate.
Alberto CALLASPO, switch hitter, takes high 1-0. Last time the Orioles saw CALLASPO, he was on the Angels. The Angels traded him to the Athletics. And there's a strike. 1-1 the count. Bud Norris, of course, as of late, has been bothered by some back stiffness. But he says that it's not really a concern. Of course, he gets the treatment between starts. Richie Bancells and Brian Ebel, the athletic trainers on this team, are very, very proactive in that regard. Keep everything quiet and calm. And the 2-1 is right there for a strike. 2-2.
Yeah, the training staff for the Baltimore Orioles obviously do a great job to keep their players on the field, and even if they are a little banged up, they get them feeling good enough and let that adrenaline kick in. And helps them get over the hump and be able to get out there on a daily basis.
Blows it by him. CALLASPO down on strikes and 2 away. And a strikeout number 2 for Bud Norris.
One of the toughest batters in the game to strike out. And Bud Norris gets him to chase after a 94-mile-an-hour fastball up and away. You see the tight rotation on it as it rises up over the bat head for strike 3.
So 2 down. As Norris looks for a clean 3-up, 3-down inning. And here is Eric Sogard, the second baseman. Just off the plate outside. One thing we have learned since Bud Norris has joined the Orioles is that he does not mind pitching behind in the count because he has so much confidence in his ability to throw all of his pitches for strikes.
Exactly. He is aggressive in the zone, but here in the early part of this ball game, a lot of the left-handed batters, he's mixing in some off-speed pitches, showing them that he has command of those, especially early in the count. Get it in the back of their head, and it makes that fastball much more effective.
And there's a 2-out base hit the other way as Sogard just lofts it over the head of J.J. Hardy. So a 2-out single, third hit for the Athletics. Bud Norris is out of Novato, California, now in his 5th big league season. Joining an Orioles rotation that was looking for some consistency. The Birds' starters ERA, Mike, is 12th in the American League out of the 15 teams at 4.57. So you add a starter whose ERA is below 4, and it can only help.
Get that right.
Here's a pitch down and in to Stephen Vogt, the catcher, and the number 9 batter. Vogt is 2 for his last 19, playing in his 26th game with the Athletics since coming up from AAA. And a strike. So he gets back in the count with a changeup. Sogard at first has 7 steals on the year, but the Orioles have the weapon who is Matt Wieters behind the plate. And the runner goes. Pitch taken high for the second. The wrong side of the base and safe at second base. As after oversliding the base, Sogard got his hand back in. A rare missed throw by Matt Wieters.
Yeah, wasn't really the best jump. Kind of a hop and look. Matt Wieters came out of the chute great, but the throw just took J.J. Hardy to that shortstop side of the bag. You see him come out of the gate really well. Almost a cut, though, on the ball as it got away from J.J. Hardy. Almost was able to recover and get that tag on the back end. See him sliding off. Oh, good try there by J.J. Hardy. Good concentration.
So the Athletics being very aggressive here early on, sacrificing in the first inning to move a runner up, and now with 2 down, the steal. That's number 8 for Eric Sogard. And 2-1 is the count on the hitter Vogt. Norris comes right at him, count even 2-2. Now Stephen Vogt, one of the rare hitters in baseball, Mike, up there without batting gloves.
Yeah.
We just saw that with Will Myers in the Tampa series. The rookie doesn't wear batting gloves. 2-2, high pop-up, shallow right, towards the line. Roberts is over. Bryan has a good angle, and at foul ground he makes the catch, and the inning ends. So Norris gets out of it, base hit, a man left, mid-second at Camden Yards, 1-0 Oakland. C for the achiever in you. Well, as we look up Conway Street from the warehouse, the Athletics with a 1-0 lead. 3 hits in their first 2 at-bats. And youngsters at the game on fireworks night. Won't be long now. School will be back in. I think Monday is the first day of school.
Wow. Crazy, huh?
I don't have kids in school anymore, but I overhear things.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. Yeah, that's actually.
Yeah, you got a ways to go, don't you?
I sure do.
Here's Nick Markakis. He'll lead off. Hardy and Flaherty will follow. And a strike, and it's 0-1.
Well, we talked about Nate McLouth breaking out of his slump, and I don't know that Nick Markakis is in a real slump right now, but he's a little bit in between. He's been working hard the last few days to break out. That's
off the end of the bat, and the shortstop Lowry gets to it for the out. Markakis retired and 1 away, so Markakis now 0 for his last 11. The Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game is Mary Turner of Baltimore. Mary has already won $500 by being selected, and she'll win $100 more for every Orioles hit during the game, plus an extra $500 for any Orioles home run in the 5th inning. Now, for your chance to be the Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. And good luck to Mary. Here's J.J. Hardy, and he'll take a strike. And 1-1 down and away. JJ's got that batting average up to 259. He's got a 3-game hitting streak going. And off the end of the bat to center field, COCO Crisp waits. He had him played right there. And 2 outs here in the Orioles' second. The Orioles have fared very well against the West this year, and they're hoping that continues. This is their final series of the season against the West. They still have 2 more series to go against the Central. The White Sox here and in Cleveland. That series in Cleveland begins on Labor Day, and that's too tight to Ryan Flaherty, who's DHing.
They definitely want to play well, obviously, against Oakland. Last year, it seemed like Oakland had their number. This year, they played much better when they went out to the West Coast and played Oakland. Now, Oakland was kind of trying to find themselves, it seemed, at the beginning of the season. And the Orioles took advantage of a little uncertainty by the Oakland A's team. They beat them 3 out of 4. It's a different ball club right now. The Oakland A's, of course, they've played themselves into a great position, obviously in the wild card and in their division. But this is a time they're fighting through. They are really grinding it out on a daily basis. They've had to endure some injuries. They've lost a couple catchers. They had to make a trade to get Suzuki back here behind the plate. So he's on the bench. There's a look at him. He's a former Oakland Athletic. He was with the Nationals recently, but with the injuries just mounting up behind the plate, they had to go out and get Suzuki. Of course, he's very familiar with the pitching staff here, so it won't be too hard of a transition.
3-1 on Flaherty, batting with 2 outs and nobody on, and a high fly foul. It should be in the stands, and it will be down the right side, so the count on Ryan goes full at 3-2. But one thing the Athletics bring to the game every night is outstanding pitching, and that's why, despite all of those things you just talked about, they still win. They are 3rd in the American League in team ERA at 3.58, and their starters are 3rd in the American League at 3.83.
And that's really what it's been all about for the Oakland Athletics. It's all about the pitching, because even their defense has faltered a bit.
Lifted to left, right to Cespedes. So on 3 fly ball outs, the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down in the second. We'll head to the 3rd at Camden Yards on a beautiful night. 1-0 Oakland. Under will receive a set of Orioles earbuds presented by PNC. Bring the family out to the ballpark and enjoy a great day game of baseball here at the ball yard. Listen to your favorite music and style when you get those Orioles earbuds. Get your tickets in advance and save. Just call 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com. 1 run on 3 hits for the Athletics through their first 2 at-bats. The Orioles have had 2 base runners, both on walks, but have not scored. Bud Norris is settling in. He allowed a 2-out single, then a steal in the second, but no runs. 34 pitches through 2 innings.
Yeah, I just saw Bud Norris gesture over to Manny Machado. Hey, heads up for the bunt. Bud Norris aware of that. As infielders know.
COCO Crisp singled and scored in the first. He was sacrificed to second and then scored on the 2-out single by Brandon Moss. This ball's ripped to right field. That's deep, that's back, and that is gone. Onto the flag court for a solo home run for Crisp. So guessing, and he got one out over the plate. And it looked like Mike Norris may have helped him out.
Yeah, threw another off-speed pitch, trying to work in his off-speed pitches to left-handers. Take a look right here. He spins a slider up there. And COCO Crisp, boy, talk about speeding up the bat. He got on that one, caught it out in front, and there's a look. Just drops the head on and out onto the flag court.
Well, 2-0 Oakland lead, and here is Jed Lowrie, who takes a strike. Lowrie laid down the sacrifice bunt his first at bat. COCO Crisp has now scored each of the 2 Oakland runs. Late on the swing, and it's 0-2. So obviously that pitch didn't break as he had hoped it would, because you don't, on the first pitch of an at-bat, want to speed up the bat, but that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, it really is, and I think he's kind of falling into a pattern, starting a lot of left-handers off with some off-speed pitches, finishing them off with a fastball, just like that one at 94 miles an hour. Take a look at this pitch. Start him off with a changeup, then back-to-back fastballs, then down in the zone. Pretty good movement down there as well, and great velocity at 94.
Strikeout number 3 for Bud Norris. There's Josh Donaldson, flied out to left field his first at-bat. And a swing and a miss. There was a lot of talk around the All-Star break about Donaldson and how he was snubbed for not being named to the All-Star team. He had 16 home runs at the break. Well, since then he's hit 2. And he has cooled off considerably with the long balls. And he takes it outside, 1-1.
Good defensive third baseman as well, though. You talked about his numbers before the All-Star break, but playing a solid third base for the Oakland A's.
1-1 is outside, ball 2.
Bud Norris is a little concerned about his power potential as well. Everything away, trying to stay down and away.
And a swing and a foul out of play. And the count even 2-2 on Donaldson. Norris, in his 2 starts here at Camden Yards, his new home ballpark, has won them both. He has already faced the Athletics twice this year as a member of the Astros, and 3 times actually, and he's 0-2 in those starts. And there's a strike 3 called, and Donaldson looked it over. And back-to-back Ks and 2 men down.
Consistently stayed away to Donaldson. Here's his best fastball of the night so far at 95, and it is just painted on that outside corner, locking Donaldson up, and he knew it.
4 Ks through 2 2/3 for Bud Norris. Brandon Moss, RBI single in the first inning, got the first Oakland run in. just outside. And there's the shift on again. Mr. Machado is in shallow right field. There's Bobby Dickerson, the infield coach. It's one of his players in the outfield.
Bobby Dickerson spends a lot of time studying opponents and their tendencies and moving the defense around. He talks to his veteran infielder J.J. Hardy a lot about how the shifts should work. Brian Roberts as well.
High fly ball to right. He got a lot of that one. Markakis is back, and that ball is gone. And it's a 2-home-run inning for the Athletics. And Oakland has jumped on Norris and the Orioles for a quick 3-0 lead. Brandon Moss 2 for 2 with a couple of ribbies, and there's his 21st home run.
Another dangerous hitter jumping on a mistake fastball. Matt Wieters wanting it away. It hangs on the outer third just enough. He gets the arms extended. It was a changeup, actually. And just speeding up the bat once again.
Well, Norris had allowed 2 home runs in his prior starts as an Oriole. Both those home runs came in his first start for the Birds against the Astros, his former team. So 2 home runs in his first 4 starts, 2 home runs in this inning. And Cespedes fouls it off. Cespedes struck out in the first, one of the 4 strikeouts for Norris. Check swing, and he fouls it off.
Nice hard slider right there, down and away. Not very good numbers off Bud Norris on this career. 143 batting average.
Cespedes behind 1-2, and he got him. So Norris strikes out the side, but the Athletics with a pair of solo home runs. Bottom of the third coming up. The Birds are down by 3. Chevrolet, find new roads.
Extra base hits. American League team leaders. Red Sox leading the way with 444 extra base hits, but the Baltimore Orioles close behind with 416. Tigers on the list at 398, Indians 382, and the Blue Jays at 381. The American League average 366. So those powerhouse offenses really above and beyond with the big numbers.
Straley has allowed only 2 base runners through 2 innings, 2 walks in the first. The Orioles couldn't take advantage of. They had first and second, 1 out, and couldn't score. Here's Brian Roberts leading off. And ball 1 outside. Roberts, McLeod, Machado for the Orioles in the third. Brian is just 4 for 20 on the homestand, a 200 batting average, but he has 4 RBIs on the homestand.
And he's still putting together quality at bats. So one thing about Brian Roberts and all of his experience, when he steps into the box, he knows how to work a hitter. Might not be getting his hits right now as frequently as he'd like, but he's putting together quality at bats. He's making a pitcher work. He understands when he needs to put pressure on a pitcher in situations when he can be aggressive early in a count. But here you see 2-1, working him early, waiting for his pitch.
Slap foul the other way. Count evens 2-2. Brian playing in his 45th game of the year. He does have 9 RBIs in the month of August, so he has been among the league leaders in that department for Buck Showalter. Outside ball 3. You got to love the approach here for the Orioles, even though they've yet to get a base hit. They're making this right-hander Dan Straley work. Very patient approaches at the plate. And the 3-2 is swung on and missed. He was late on the swing. And Roberts down on strikes and 1 away. Brian asking Brian O'Nora, was that in fact a strike? It must have moved quite a bit.
90-mile-an-hour fastball right on the outside corner. Might have tailed just off the plate, and that's why Brian Roberts was questioning whether or not a ball or a strike. Just got a little piece of it. Nice job hanging on to it by Vogt.
The first strikeout for Straley. And here's McLouth, and he'll take low 1-0. Nate drew a leadoff walk in the bottom of the first, leading off. And takes ball 2. Straley averages 3 walks per 9 innings while striking out just over 7. And ball 3. The one number that jumps out at you, Mike, with Straley is how many base runners he allows, or maybe we should say doesn't allow. 11.7 per 9 innings.
Pretty good number there.
Strike on the inside corner. McLouth taking all the way, and it's 3-1.
And we talked about he's had his troubles this year. He's pitched less than 5 innings in 7 of his 20 starts, but he's a rookie, and he leads all rookies in games started. 20 starts.
Ground ball right to the first baseman Moss. He'll go to the bag unassisted and 2 quick outs.
And he's also leads with 92 strikeouts and innings pitched. So they're using him. He's getting great experience, obviously, in a team that's chasing the postseason. But he's taken his lumps and learning along the way, and he's at times been very effective, and other times not quite so much. They have kind of a short leash on him as well. He's only thrown over 100 pitches 2 times this year.
They'll face Machado with 2 outs and nobody on. 7 in a row retired by Straley. And a pop-up back of the plate. Vogt hoping for a play, and he'll run out of room. It is just over the screen for a foul ball and strike 1.
A couple really good third basemen playing in this series. Of course, Manny Machado. And take a look at the comparisons. The American League ranks. Manny Machado 294. That's tied for third. Donaldson right there 294 as well. Doubles. Manny leading everybody with 43. But look at Donaldson with the 18 home runs and that fielding percentage. A couple slick fielding third basemen right there. Manny Machado looks like he's headed for a Gold Glove, but Donaldson can make the plays as well.
Off the end of the bat, shallow center. Here comes Crisp, and he has it for the out. And Dan Straley has back-to-back 3 up, 3 down innings. We'll head to the 4th, but Norris and the Birds trail. lead on Oakland for the top spot, which means the home game. The Indians are 2.5 back of Oakland, the Orioles 3, and the Yankees 3.5. And Mike, here's the remaining games and how many of those games are against teams above 500.
Yeah, I mean, the Oakland A's, 16 games left with teams over 500. But take a look at the Orioles. It is going to be a tough go of it. 26 games left with teams over 500. The challenge is in front of them, and they're hoping to rise up and make a spot into the postseason.
26 of the 36. And if you look at the breakdown, if the Orioles go 24-12, so 2 out of 3 the rest of the way, they would win 92 games. So the question is, can you win 2 out of 3 the rest of the way, and will 92 wins be enough?
Well, it's certainly going to be hard. I think they need a little help from some other teams that are ahead of them right now. But this team, and you talk about it all the time, they have not gone on a legitimate run yet. 5 games in a row. It's their biggest winning streak. And I think they've got it in them. And the beauty is they're healthy offensively. Starting pitching is stabilized. I think that bullpen is going to come around and be solid again. And I think it's there in front of them for the taking. And I think they can get on a good run.
Norris gets ahead of Seth Smith. 0-1. And strike 2 on the outside corner that time. Smith grounded out to right field his first at bat.
Yeah, he did. Nice play. Manny Machado made a slow roller from shallow right fielder, or right field.
There's your third baseman in shallow right. Norris misses high with a fastball, 1-2. Bud coming off a win in his last start last Saturday. So an extra day of rest because of the team day off yesterday. At this time of year, that's not a bad thing. Just inside, 2-2. And the 2-2 is poked foul as Seth Smith protecting that outside corner.
Not a bad pitch there. Backdoor slider from Bud Norris, working his fastball in and out pretty effectively. Good velocity on it, and tries to sneak a backdoor slider in there to Seth Smith.
And another foul ball. Well, the Athletics are 71-55. They are 16 games above 500. And if you look at their season, Bob Melvin has done what Bob Melvin's team should do. They are padding their record against the Astros, a team now in their division and the team with the worst record in the league. They are 12-3 against the Houston Astros. And they still have 4 games left with Houston. They're also 9-4 against the Angels, so 5 above against the Angels. And they have 6 games left with the Angels. So if you add that up, they're 21-7 against the Astros and Angels. They're 50-48 against everybody else.
Well, they're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat within their division. Of course, the Astros, a struggling team indeed. Beautiful pitch right there by Bud Norris at the bottom of the zone. The bottom just drops right out here to get Seth Smith. Talk about him working his fastball in and out. And this is how devastating a changeup can be. If you throw that fastball, that is a nice pitch off the fastball. Look at how far in front Smith is. Great location as well.
Strikeout number 6 for Bud Norris. CALLASPO takes low with a breaking ball. CALLASPO was acquired July the 30th from the Los Angeles Angels. He gives the Athletics a switch hitter, and he gives them insurance at infield positions. He was playing mostly third for the Angels. Bob Melvin's team last year had that great run in the second half and finished with 94 wins to win the AL West. That forced the Texas Rangers into the wild card game, which they did host against the Orioles, and Buck Showalter's club won in Texas to end the Rangers season. 2-1 is outside, ball 3. as the Orioles do. Oakland also has a tough road coming up. They're on a road trip beginning here tonight. From here they go to Detroit for a 4-game series, then go home to play Tampa Bay and Texas back-to-back. Fouled off the other way, 3-2. CALLASPO a little late on the swing. But the good thing about this time of year, Mike, is when you're playing these contending teams, if you just take care of your business, it all falls into place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you look at it, though, on paper, it looks like it's going to be just a daunting task for a lot of teams that are trying to make their mark into the postseason, but try to rise above and play good baseball. And I think, like we've talked about with the Orioles, it's just a matter of taking it one day at a time, playing your game.
Well, and prior to today's game, Buck Showalter talked about the road that lies ahead for the Orioles.
Our guys understand where we are. They also understand some of the good things they've done to make these games meaningful. You know, I'm not going to. There's a bunch of games we won this year that didn't look like we were going to win them. Okay, and there's some games that we looked like we were going to win and we didn't. So all that is behind us, and here it is in front of us. You know, if we win all 36 of these games, I bet we're in the playoffs. What do you think? But we're gonna approach it that way. Is it going to happen? Probably not. But you know, you can't look at it like you got to win every one, even though you approach it that way. Here's 9 innings. We're going to grind the heck out of it, and you know, I like our chance. We're playing good teams, you know, but nobody backs into anything at this level. As many games we play, there's no Cinderellas.
Yeah, you got to work for it for sure. And I think every team coming in the start of the season wants to go 162-0. It's just not going to work that way. That's why you take one game at a time, one pitch, one at bat at a time, and that's the approach that Buck Showalter has instilled in all of his players, and they buy into it. And that's why they've been so resilient all year. The tough losses, they can bounce back and play consistent baseball, and they're looking to do that down the stretch.
And even though we look at the overview saying, yeah, if you go 24-12 the rest of the way, you win 92 and you're probably in the playoffs, they look at it as 36 one-game seasons.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
Because, you know, the skipper looks at it that way.
Yeah.
0-2 on Sogard. And a foul got a piece of the shin guard of the umpire, Onora. Sogard singled his first at-bat. The Orioles are trying to hold off the Yankees as well. They're just a half game back of the Birds. The Yankees are trailing at Tampa tonight 3-1 in the third. The Red Sox are still out west. They play the Dodgers tonight in interleague play after getting 2 out of 3 in San Francisco. Strike 3 call. Perfect pitch on the inside corner, and 2 men are down.
Looks like he might have been thinking about something else here. Just froze up on a fastball. Not the spot he wanted. Matt WIETERSC makes the catch right down the heart of the plate to lock Sogard up.
All right, so if you're going to miss your target by 3 feet, miss it coming right into the umpire's mask.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. He got a real good look at it.
Oh, my. Brian Onora was right there. It came right to him. Here's Stephen Vogt, the number 9 batter. The catcher popped up to Roberts and foul ground on the right field line his first at bat. And there's a throw to first to Chase CALLASPO, who does not have a steal on the year for either the Angels or the Athletics. And a little bit low, 1-0.
Bud Norris looked back to the mound. I think he had a little mud caught in his spikes. Might have had a little slip out there.
It has 5 outs, all by strikeout. The last out not by strikeout, made by the hitter at the plate. So 1, make that 2 called strike throughs, 2 backward Ks up there. And the 1-1 is sliced to right center field. Long run for Jones. McLouth there as well, and Nate takes it as it slices all the way over to left center field, and McLouth runs it down. A one-out walk, a man left. Bottom of the fourth coming up. The Birds down by 3. Bank for the achiever in you.
Yeah, Zach Britton's kind of had an up and down year. 5-5 on the season with a 4.48. Look at the base on balls, 46, 67 strikeouts and 18 starts. But yesterday in Durham, an outstanding outing by Zach Britton. And of course, Buck Showalter loves to see this. 7 strong innings of work, just 3 hits, 2 runs, and just one of them earned. 4 base on balls and a couple strikeouts. Unfortunately, he did get the no decision, but he pitched deep in the ball game, which is a great sign for Zach Britton.
Well, STRAILY has not allowed a base hit through the first 3 innings. He has retired 8 in a row. And the hitter leading off here for the Orioles, Chris Davis, is the last Oriole to reach, and he'll take ball 1 outside. 2 walks in the first, but no runs. Davis, the second of those walks. He and McLouth were both left stranded. And it bounces in there for 2-0. Hey, Chris on a 5-game hitting streak, 8 for 16 with a couple of home runs. He's ahead here 2-0.
STRAILY doing just enough to keep this Orioles offense off balance. There have been some pitches, though, that were up in the zone. See a lot of fly ball outs coming from STRAILY. He actually has 6 of them to this point in the ball game. Early in the ball game, it tells me that there are pitches that the Orioles hitters are just missing.
So Davis not only works the walk, it is a 4-pitch leadoff walk as the Orioles, trailing by 3, get a man on. As the American Heart Association's 30th anniversary Heart Ball chair, the Orioles encourage fans to visit Orioles.com/AHA and receive 50% off tickets to any O's game between now and September 8th simply by donating $10 to the American Heart Association for each ticket purchase. So that is half price just for making a charitable contribution to a worthy cause. So visit Orioles.com/AHA for this exclusive 50% ticket savings. Adam Jones takes high 1-0. Adam with a pop-up to shallow left field this first at-bat that Cespedes came in on. Borderline pitch, and STRAILY gets the call in the outside corner, 1-1.
And the sweeping slider just caught the edge as it broke off.
56 pitches now for STRAILY as he works here in the 4th. Too tight. STRAILY is out of Springfield, Oregon. And he was a 24th round pick in 2009. High fly ball right. Back it goes. And it is gone. It just got out for Adam Jones. It hits the railing on the flag court. And the Orioles are on the board and back in the game. Opposite field home run for Jones, and it's a 3-2 ball game.
Impressive piece of hitting right there by Adam Jones. We've seen him use right field a lot more this season, and he's hit a couple of home runs the other way. His 27th home run of the season is an opposite field shot, and it's on a slider, so that tells you a lot of things are going right for Adam Jones.
So the Orioles now down by a run. WIETERSC swings through it 0-1.
I'll take a look at the slider from STRAILY. Adam Jones backs it up. He gets the arms extended and hammers this pitch up to the flag court. Nice job of hitting by Adam Jones.
Mike, Seth Smith went back on that ball as if he was certain the ballpark was going to hold it. He went back and he was getting in position to catch the ball, and it just kept sailing over his head. WIETERSC base hit right field past the dive of Brandon Moss. So here come the Orioles, shut down over the first 3 innings and the first 3 reach in the 4th.
Yeah, it seems like Adam Jones loosened them up with that 2-run shot right there. Matt WIETERSC follows up with a single.
So Jones now with 93 RBIs. Trying to become the second Oriole with 100 ribbies on the year, with Davis already there. And that leadoff walk is costly as Jones makes STRAILY pay.
Boy, what a season he is having.
There's still nobody down, and the Orioles have the tying run on for Nick Markakis. Nick popped up the shortstop with LOWRIE making the catch in shallow left center field his first at bat. And he'll take low 1-0. Buck Showalter and John Russell on the Orioles bench. The one thing about the Orioles, because of their firepower leading the American League in home runs, that's their 170th home run. They're never out of a game. And it's outside, ball 2. That is the 13th home run allowed by STRAILY, and this is 21st start.
Yeah, it's a dangerous lineup from top to bottom. You pitch around Chris Davis, you got Adam Jones waiting there. Pitch around Matt WIETERSC, you got Nick Markakis, big hole open there. J.J. Hardy with over 20 home runs. I mean, up and down this Orioles lineup, there is power.
Hardy on deck, 3-0 for Markakis, who has now gone 198 at-bats without a home run. And he'll take high, ball 4, so 2 on with none out. Of course, Mike, earlier this year, the Orioles took 3 out of 4 in Oakland, and the Orioles, it's only 4 games, but they have dominated.
Yeah, they just flat out played them out in Oakland, winning 3 games in the 4-game set. Batting average way up at .315, 28 runs scored with 5 home runs, and the pitching was outstanding as well. The Orioles look to get back on track here in this series and keep up their success against the Athletics. STRAILY's pitch count up to 65. Pitching coach Kurt Young out for a visit, try to settle him down a little bit. Boy, this offense, when they get going, they can strike in a hurry. A leadoff walk, a home run, a single, another walk, and the pressure is now on the rookie right-hander, Van STRAILY.
Jesse Chavez is now getting loose for the Athletics, one of the 5 right-handers in that Oakland bullpen. As Mike Bordick mentioned, it's been a short leash for STRAILY anyway, and now he's running into a jam. 2 runs in, 2 on, and nobody down. J.J. Hardy flat out to center field his first at-bat. The Orioles had 2 chances in the first inning with men in scoring position, went 0 for 2. So now their 3rd chance with WIETERSC at second base and nobody down. Markakis, the trail runner, at first. And Hardy will take a strike after the visit from Kurt Young.
Another great scoring opportunity for the Orioles. J.J. Hardy, one of the Orioles' hottest hitters here in August. He's got a 5-game hitting streak at 292, 3 RBIs. That's versus the A's.
0-1 is bounced and fouled down the third base side. 0-2 on Hardy.
Take a look at J.J. Hardy. Traditionally a slow starter in April. That's why that on-base plus slugging numbers are down. But he heated up in May and June. A dip in July. But my, oh my, as he heated up again in August. The power numbers back up. Getting on base. On-base plus slugging at 934 in the month of August.
Well, STRAILY gets ahead of Hardy. 0-2. Hitters are batting .302 against STRAILY with a man in scoring position. Too tight, nearly hit him. JJ may have tried to enhance that. So a little turn there.
Yeah. Get a piece of the jersey. You fall behind 0-2. Hey, helping him out.
He has hit 6 batters on the year, has STRAILY. Orioles back in the game and trying to get the lead, trailing now 3-2 following the Jones home run.
He's laboring through this inning. He was doing a pretty good job of keeping this Orioles offense under wraps here until he entered the 4th.
Outside, real patient approach there for J.J. Hardy in 2-2. For STRAILY, it's his 2nd career start against the Orioles. The last came last September 16th in Oakland. And the Orioles beat him that day. He lasted 4 2/3 innings. WIETERSC hit 2 solo home runs off him in that game at the Coliseum. 2-2 is fouled back. He made 7 starts last year. This is his 21st start this season. 24 years old. WIETERSC at second, MARKAKIS at first, and Hardy at the plate. Still nobody out. And he got it. Brian O'Nora says that was a swing and a miss, even though the ball bounced. Real good pitch.
Yeah, he came up with a big one when he needed it. Probably his best slider of the game. You see that good downward tilt. Gets J.J. Hardy way out in front. That late bite as it bounces out in front of the plate. J.J. Hardy giving chase.
2nd strikeout for STRAILY. And that's a huge out for him. He's now a double play away from getting out of it. Here's Ryan Flaherty. Ryan flied out to left field his first at bat. Good cut, and he fouled it straight back 0-1. Ryan's got a 3-game hitting streak working. 4 out of 11 in that span with a ribby.
But Norris in there trying to keep that back loose. You talked about he's had some problems here recently. Up and stretching with the long inning.
Scott Feldman in the shot as well. One and one on Flaherty, 2 on and 1 out. And a pitch inside. Left-handers have hit STRAILY at a 257 clip. Right-handers 227. Oh, Flaherty was right on it, ripped it foul. You hit it to the club level there as a left-handed batter. You're in front of it. Wow.
Yeah, short and quick. Inside fastball, getting the head to it. Just a little bit over aggressive.
And Flaherty having a good month. For players not in there every day, he does a real good job of staying sharp. 2-2 the count on Flaherty. 2 on and 1 out. And a base hit right field. Flaherty comes through. Wieters got a slow start, so he'll be held by Bobby Dickerson. Matt had to wait sure that ball got through on the line past the first baseman. So the Orioles have the bases loaded with only 1 out.
Yeah, low line driver or a low line drive. Base runners have to freeze and make sure it gets through. And cruises on into third base. Nice swing, nice at bat by Ryan Flaherty. Staying on this, great head position, rifles it through the hole between first and second.
So a big opportunity now for the Orioles as Flaherty extends his hitting streak to 4 in a row, and Brian Roberts with good career numbers with the bases loaded comes up. Tying run at third, go ahead run at second. Wieters, Markakis, and Flaherty third to first. And there's a strike, 0-1. Bryant struck out his first at bat. Fans are back in the game. Outside. Boy, what a take. Brian Honora is doing a real good job tonight behind the plate. This has been a well-called game early on by the umpire.
Sure has. A couple close pitches as well. Not giving in. He's got his strike zone. He's sticking to it.
High fly ball, deep right field. Did he get enough? Back it goes and gone! There's a grand slam for Roberts. And the Orioles get the lead.
Brian Roberts gets on a mistake fastball. You see Vogt setting up away. This fastball gets in on the inner third, and Brian Roberts with a quick bat is ready for it and hammers it for the huge grand slam home run. He poses up on this one.
So Brian Roberts, big career numbers with the bases loaded, adds to it. His third home run has given the Orioles the lead.
Of course, Brian Roberts with a big grand slam home run, but he only lasted 3 1/3 innings. Gave up the 4 hits, all in the 4th inning. 6 runs, all 6 earned, 4 walks. Made him work. Just 2 strikeouts, and now Chavez enters the ball game.
And Nate McLeod, bouncer to short. Tough play for LOWRIE on the backward spin, and he gets it there just in time. So on one pitch, Chavez gets an out and 2 away.
And take a look at Chavez coming out of the A's bullpen. This will be his 27th game in the season. 4.08 earned run average with 41 strikeouts in 46 1/3 innings of work on the year.
So the Orioles came into this inning without a hit. They had 2 walks in the first, stranded both. 2 walks in this inning have scored, and also 4 base hits. The Orioles now, Mike, have 48 multi-home run games on the season. They've had a multi-home run inning.
Yeah, that was a pretty impressive inning by the Orioles offense, being no hit through the first 3. There were some fly balls, kind of led you to believe that they were just missing some pitches. Nice walk by Chris Davis, and then Adam Jones really set the tone of the 4th with a big 2-run opposite field home run, and some nice at bats along the way with MARKAKIS, WIETERSC, and FLAHERTY, but Brian Roberts with the huge blow.
This ball's hit deep. Will it stay fair? In the corner, it is a foul ball. That ball was hit so hard, I didn't think it had time to go foul. Wow. And a little bit low, 2-2. Well, Mike, you talked about it earlier about the Orioles and their hitting. STRAILY was sailing along, and boom, he hit a wall of this 4th inning. Just outside, ball 3 as Chavez just misses to Machado.
Well, that's what's so scary about this Orioles offense, how fast they can just explode and turn a game around. Never out of a game, as you mentioned, with the power potential.
And Machado works a walk. So the Orioles will send a 10th man to the plate. Bob Melvin's team came in a struggling club, having lost 3 of 5. And the Athletics have gone 8-12 in their last 20 games. He had a 3-0 lead early and now trails by 3 runs.
Well, the good news for the Orioles as they start this 3-game set with the Oakland A's is they already got into the Oakland Athletics bullpen. So that's a good sign. The bad news for Bob Melvin is that they have a tremendously tough road trip as they head on to Detroit after this. And if they use up their bullpen against this Orioles offense, it's going to not be good.
Bob Melvin was not pleased with their loss on Wednesday to conclude the homestand. Here's the 0-2 to Davis, is fouled straight down at the plate. His entire post-game press conference, Melvin, he took no questions. He just got up there, did a monologue about how poorly they're playing and how they better turn it around and quick. And that was it. He got up and walked out.
Well, teams need that sometimes. Of course, the player's well aware of what the manager's talking about in there. I'm sure they were listening to the press conference as well, and possibly a post-game meeting from manager Bob Melvin just to get the team back on track. And you know, you can become complacent in some areas of the ball game, and it's a manager's job to keep everybody in line and remind them of what their ultimate goal is.
Machado at first with 2 down. The Orioles have scored 6 runs in the inning, and Davis goes down on strikes, and that'll end it. But the Orioles on the 6th career grand slam in the career of Brian Roberts, his first since September 12th of 2009, hits it out onto the flag court, the grand slam capping the inning, and the Orioles now have a 6-3 lead.
Yeah, Bud Norris certainly has the whiff pitch working tonight. He gets CALLASPO on an up and away fastball, and a beautiful pitch down in the zone to get LOWRIE. CESPEDES, the big power hitter, and Seth Smith on a beautiful changeup down in the zone. He's got 7 on the night. Bud Norris with the strikeout pitch working.
Well, Adam Jones got the Orioles on the board with a 2-run home run, his 27th. And then Brian Roberts with a grand slam, his 3rd. So Bud Norris, you talked about it earlier, for whatever reason, the Orioles love to score runs for him.
They sure do.
And they give him a 6-run inning. And he deals low to COCO Crisp, who's leading off here in the 5th. It is the 69th time the Orioles, Mike, have scored 3 or more runs in an inning, and they doubled it up with 6. There's a strike.
Well, hitting is contagious, and they certainly got the bug in that last inning. Some great at bats, a couple big base on balls, singles, and of course what they're known for, the long ball.
And a base hit for COCO Crisp, who is 3 for 3. So the Athletics trying to come right back on Bud Norris here in the 5th. Fans, when the Orioles take on the White Sox Thursday, September 5th, first 10,000 fans 15 and over receive an Orioles plaid cap. The playoff race is on at Oriole Park, so gather up your family and friends and get your orange going here, and you can get the stylish new Orioles cap. Get your tickets in advance and save 888-848-BIRD, or get online at Orioles.com. Jed LOWRIE now, sack, bunt, and a strikeout. The Athletics have 6 hits. COCO Crisp has half of them. And a strike taken by LOWRIE.
Well, we talk about him being a very important part of this Oakland A's offense. He has the speed. He has occasional power. Some with the long ball already in this game.
Real good move to first, and COCO Crisp, who is a stolen base threat, has to dive back in.
Almost caught him in between there.
Yeah, he has that sliding pad on to protect his hand. Puts it over the batting glove. Again, he has to dive back in.
Well, that's what base stealers do. Their job is to try to distract the pitcher. A couple throwovers right there, trying to take him out of his rhythm.
0-1 is outside, 1-1. Bob Melvin, when he put his lineup together, of course, if Josh Reddick were healthy and able to play, he'd be in there. But you look at the trends, and he has 7 left-handed batters in there because of the 3 switch hitters. Lefties this year against Bud Norris have hit .302. This ball sliced to left field. That ball's trouble. That's heading for the corner, and it gets down for a base hit and goes all the way to the wall. Crisp is coming around third. He will come towards the plate. He will score, and it's an RBI double in a 6-4 game. So the Athletics are coming right back. A single, now a double, and it's a 2-run game.
Yeah, all sparked by COCO Crisp. Nice job of hitting by LOWRIE on an elevated pitch. He stays on and pushes it away for his 34th double. Take a look up in the zone. Looks like a beach ball up there, and he stays on it and goes, gets it, drives it down that left field line.
So it is a 2-run game. As Norris has had trouble. He still does not have a 3-up, 3-down inning. He's had a couple of 4 batter innings. But the Athletics now have scored in 3 of their 5 at-bats. And a foul, got a piece of Matt Wieters, rolls all the way out to Chris Davis. 0-1. Norris allowed 4 runs in his win last Saturday against Colorado, the first series on this homestand. In 5 2/3, he allowed 4 runs on 9 hits. He has allowed 4 runs on 7 hits through 4 innings plus 2 batters tonight. One and one as he misses outside. The Indians are trailing at home in the 6th inning. Minnesota has a 2-1 lead. The Indians are a half game ahead of the Orioles for the 3rd position in the wild card race. And again it bounces. The first 2 make it. And right now the Orioles are 4th. 3 back of Oakland for the number 2 spot and a half game back of the Indians. Roberts and Lowry at second base. Of course, Lowry formerly with the Red Sox, so he's very familiar with the Oriole players. 2-1 swing and a miss.
And Donaldson setting on the fastball out in front of the slider there. Bud Norris and Matt Wieters being careful. Very dangerous hitter at the plate.
So 2-2 the count on Donaldson, the number 3 batter in the lineup. Line drive and a base hit to right field. That one goes towards the gap. Being sent as Lowry. He will score, and it's a 1-run game. So Bud Norris is really being hit around by the Athletics. That is 8 base hits. And it is a 6-5 game, and there's nobody out here in the 5th inning.
Well, this is what it's all about here. Nice piece of hitting on a slider away, stays on it, drives it the other way. But just when you think you're going to bury a team with a huge 4th inning, there's not going to be any let up by this Oakland A's offense or any team down the stretch. Got to stay on top of your game. Keep trying to slam the door as Troy Patton now warming up in the Orioles bullpen. Pitching coach Bill Castro comes out to talk to Bud Norris and give him a little breather and get him back on track.
So a single, then a double, now a single. 2 runs in. It's a 1-run game. And you see the pitch count mounting. He's at 82 pitches already as he works here in the 5th inning. You know, you just wonder, Mike, because of the stiff back, how much this may be affecting him.
Well, it possibly is. I don't think Bud Norris is going to come up with any excuses and tell you that it has been affecting him. But I know when you're banged up a little bit, especially if your back is bothering you, you don't get that full release, that full extension on your follow through, and you may be tentative to some point.
So the tying run Donaldson is on, and there's still nobody out. Here is Brandon Moss, the cleanup hitter, who is 2 for 2. Down and in, 1-0. Moss has singled the drive in a run. He has hit a solo home run. The Athletics, like the Orioles, have had a multi-home run inning. 2 solo shots in the 3rd. The Orioles had a 2-run home run and a grand slam in the 4th. Strike on the inside corner.
And take a look at Bud Norris's delivery to see if he is tentative at all, but it looks like a nice sound follow through, consistent delivery that he's repeated in this ball game. So no signs of any stiffness at all. Just a couple mistakes up in the zone.
A ball and a strike on Moss. Foul back the other way. The shift is on, but not as pronounced as the shift on Seth Smith. Machado is where the shortstop would be. Hardy's on the other side. Of course, there's a double play possibility here, so they have to respect that around the bag at second base. 1-2 on Brandon Moss. Upstairs, he lays off. 2-2.
Not a terrible pitch, though. Matt Wieters kind of nodding, saying it's okay. Elevate a fastball, change the eye level a little bit. Sometimes you get a chase.
Two is fouled back. Athletics are getting some healthy cuts against Norris. The Athletics have hits in 4 of the 5 innings, and they've had base runners in all 5. They have scored in 3 of the 5. 2-2 is ripped, caught by Roberts, and the Orioles are going to get a double play. So the shift paid off, and a huge turnaround for Bud Norris. That ball was heading to the outfield for a base hit. Instead, it's a twin killer.
Yeah, great positioning by the Orioles defense. Infield coach Bobby Dickerson. This is a line drive right at Brian Roberts. Boy, and that can stop a rally in a second. A huge double play.
He's not out of it yet, though. Here is the dangerous YOENIS Cespedes, who is 0 for 2 with a couple of strikeouts. Check swing, and it's inside. Appeal to first. He did not go. Fielding Culberth saying he checked in time. Bud Norris trying to improve to 4-1 as an Oriole and 4-0 as a starter with the Orioles. There's a strike. See the pitch count. The first inning 14, that was the best, but he did allow a run in the first inning. 1-1 is outside, ball 2. Norris has struck out 7, which in part has helped elevate that pitch count. He has walked only 1, and the 1 walk did not score. Just outside, ball 3. On the other side, STRAILY walked 4, and 2 of the 4 did score in that 6-run rally in the 4th. Chavez walked Machado after relieving, but Manny was left stranded to end the inning. Jones and Roberts getting it done. 3-1 is outside, ball 4, and there's a 2-out walk. May have been pitching around them just a bit. Mid-Atlantic Sports Report is back on Monday, 5 until 7. Join Tom Davis, Mel Antonin, and Phil Wood. They'll wrap up the weekend and answer your fan questions as they open up the MASN mailbag. All that plus their weekly stock reports. Monday, 5 to 7 on MASN. I didn't know the boys gave stock reports. You can watch MASN for sports and financial advice.
There you go, yeah.
But here is Seth Smith, and he again will have to hit into the shift. 2 men down. The Orioles don't have to be concerned about a double play possibility. And Norris gets ahead on 1.
Really, the only thing this Orioles defense has to be aware of is you see the depth of Manny Machado out there. There's a possible bunt with a struggling hitter up there to try to keep this inning extended. J.J. Hardy, he's the lone wolf on the left side of the infield. He's got to be aware of that bunt potential. J.J. over there all alone.
Now, when you're 5 for your last 53, why would you not consider that?
Oh, I'm sure it's in his mind. I think a lot of hitters, though, want to break out with a swing, so they feel good about their swing. But hey, a hit's a hit. Confidence soars anytime you get one.
Swings through it, 1-2. Well, Norris trying to get through this 5th inning with the lead intact. He's given back 2 runs, but still has a 6-5 advantage. Foul back. The way this is going, this likely will be the last inning for Bud. He's on the verge of 100 pitches as he works here in the 5th. And with the day off yesterday, you got to believe that just about everybody in that bullpen is available tonight.
You know, Bud Norris's pitch count is up. This Oakland A's offense has come to life against him, putting together some quality at bats.
And slice foul to stay alive.
And just 1 base on ball in the game, but extended innings, all of them. Check that, 2 walks in the ball game.
Cespedes just walked for the second walk. Wieters out to talk to Morris. He took the foul ball, or the new ball, to be put in play by Brian O'Nor, and instead of tossing back, he ran out and he said something to Norris as Bill Castro looking on. This Wieters reading that bat of Smith. One and two with 2 down. Cespedes at first, and another foul ball back. He's getting some real healthy cuts.
Yeah, he is, and that was Bud Norris's best fastball of the game at 95, up and away.
The bad news for Norris is he can't put Smith away, but the good news is Smith can't get it in play. Another 1-2 pitch coming. Foul back again.
Bud Norris's pitch count 100 to this point. He's averaging 97.9, season high 122, but he's been laboring through this whole ball game. I wouldn't be surprised, like Jim said, this may be it, getting down to this inning.
Well, Smith is about to see the 8th pitch in this at bat. Ground ball and a base hit against the shift up the middle. Throw behind Cespedes, and just getting the foot back on the bag is Cespedes. Good heads up play there by Adam Jones.
I'll tell you what, good court awareness. You don't see this very often, but Adam Jones, he used to be a shortstop, and he'll tell you. He's got his head on the runners. Looks like he's going to come up to third, but throws behind Cespedes and almost gets him with the surprise attack.
So Cespedes to second, Smith to first. Smith wins that battle. And is on the 8th pitch of the at-bat on a 1-2 count. He gets the tying run the second, go-ahead run the first, 2 down. And here is CALLASPO, who is DHing tonight. He has struck out and walked. And it looks like Buck Showalter is going to extend the inning, at least one more batter for Bud Norris. CALLASPO is a switch hitter, so it doesn't really matter who you bring in. He'll just go to the other side of the plate. Outside, 1-0. Scoring position numbers: 2 for 4 for the Athletics, 2 out of 5 for the Birds. Too tight. Now with a left-hander on deck and a left-hander behind Sogard, who's on deck, and Vogt, if Norris doesn't get CALLASPO, that almost certainly will be it for him, because Patton is ready in the bullpen.
Now this is a tough inning for Bud Norris. See his pitches up to 32 just here in the 5th.
And this is the 7th Oakland hitter to come up. 2-0 on CALLASPO. Foul back, 2-1. And Kirby signaling to his outfielders. Watch that flick swing, it looked like he was saying.
Yeah. Pitches away. Certainly have to be heads up for that. Outfielders sometimes have to play like infielders and read the pitch, read the swing to get good jumps.
And time requested at the plate by CALLASPO, as Bud Norris took a long time trying to agree on a sign. Oakland has out-hit the Orioles 9-4. The Birds do lead at 6-5. There's a strike call. Good pitch, 2-2.
A real good slider right there from Bud Norris. Still holding good velocity on his fastball, but when he can throw that hard slider in there for strikes underneath the hands of the lefties, he's going to be really effective. That was a good one there.
2 runs in the inning. 2-2 on the hitter with 2 on. And a foul back. Yeah, this has been the problem for Bud in this inning, the put-away pitch.
It sure is. And typically his out pitch is that hard slider. He can elevate the fastball as well. You got to tip your hat sometimes to the offense, putting together good at bats, keeping them alive by fouling off tough pitches.
And the 2-2, he fouled it off straight down at the plate. Wieters couldn't hold it.
And that's a real good slider again, hard down and in, and CALLASPO just getting enough of it and knock it away from Matt Wieters. Take a look at the good hard rotation, holding true, and then right at the end, that good bite.
Wieters never had a chance to hold it.
Yeah.
Outside, ball 3. So it has gone full. Well, Seth Smith singled on an 8th pitch of an at-bat. Now CALLASPO is about to see the 8th pitch, plus the runners will be going. Cespedes from second and Smith from first, 3-2 with 2 men down. Biggest pitch of the night coming here for Norris. And he walked him, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And that's going to be all for Bud Norris. So he will not be able to earn the win. He came up and out short. But Buck Showalter's in a pennant race. Every game is meaningful, and he tried to get him through the inning, and Bud Norris couldn't do it. He has allowed 4 hits plus 2 walks in the inning. Bases loaded, 2 runs in, 2 down. Norris done for the Birds.
Game, boy, not quite the Bud Norris that we'd seen in his first 4 starts with the 3-0 record and 3.57 earned run average, and he only gave up 2 home runs in those 4 starts. Tonight, different story. This Oakland A's offense got to him. 4 2/3 innings of work, 9 hits, 5 runs, all 5 of them earned, 3 base on balls. He did have the 7 strikeouts, but 2 home runs allowed, and he's responsible for the runners on first, second, and third. Troy Patton now coming into the ball game, try to save the day for Bud Norris. 50th appearance, 3.40 earned run average. Opponents hitting .266, lefties at .259, and the righties at .272. Heritage runner stranded, though. He does a good job at 67%.
And he's inheriting 3 here. The Orioles clinging to a 1-run lead after their 6-run bottom of the 4th. And here is Sogard. Outside, ball 1. Patton has been pitching extremely well. He's got Cespedes at third, Smith at second, CALLASPO at first, and Sogard gets ahead 1-0. 1 for 2 with a single. Strike on the outside corner. Good pitch.
Yeah, nice sweeping slider from Troy Patton. He went through a stretch where he didn't have the command that he'd like, but boy, he's locked in now. He's able to locate it on both sides of the plate. Look at those numbers in his last 9 appearances, a 1.13 earned run average.
1-1 is a called strike. 1-2. Tight spot to be brought in. Patton gets ahead, a ball and 2 strikes. Lined and a base hit to right field. Cespedes scores. Right behind him with the go-ahead run is Smith, and the Athletics have answered with a 4-run inning to get the lead. Another base hit with 2 men down.
Bud Norris, a little frustration there on his face. Nice piece of hitting by Sogard. An elevated pitch from Troy Patton as he fights it off and just over the reach of Brian Roberts. As 2 runs score, the Oakland A's with a huge answer here in the 5th inning, putting 4 on the board.
Well, the Orioles batted around and sent 10 men to the plate in the 4th. The Athletics about to bat around here in the 5th. Here's the 9th batter to come up, Stephen Vogt, the catcher. Strike 1 on the outside corner. What a game. 10 base hits already for Oakland. They answer a 6-run rally with a 4-run rally of their own. Swing and a miss. And what outstanding 2-strike hitting by the Athletics in this inning.
Yeah, it sure has been. They're putting together some quality at bats. Of course, Bud Norris had to face them. And now Troy Patton trying to deal with this Oakland A's lineup.
And another base hit on a 2-strike pitch. Jones charges in. The runner will be held at third. The throw all the way to the plate as CALLASPO was held by Mike Gallego.
CALLASPO was thinking score all the way. Adam Jones got to that ball in a hurry, and third base coach Mike Gallego put the hands up a little bit late. Nice job of holding up there. Almost caught a couple people off guard. Nice strong throw by Adam Jones. Take a look at the pitch, an elevated pitch once again. He reaches out and touches it up the middle, but Adam Jones aggressive to come in and get it. And that strong throwing arm one hops Matt Wieters. Bill Castro out again for another visit. Trying to get out of this 5th inning.
Well, the Athletics are about to send COCO Crisp to the plate for a 4th time, and we're only in the 5th inning. 6 hits in this inning. 4 of the hits, Mike, have come with 2 strikes on the batter. Norris could not get out of it, holding the lead. As the inherited runners, 2 of the 3 have scored to put Oakland back on top 7-6. And here is Crisp, who began it with a single. Batting right-handed for the first time tonight. Patton gets ahead 0-1. Bases again loaded, and 2 men down. Just inside.
Close pitch.
Two managers looking on. And a pop-up. Davis, foul ground, has a play. And the inning is finally over. So the Athletics get 4. They strand 3. Brand new game. We're heading to the bottom of the 5th. Oakland up by a run. 4-run top of the 5th, getting the lead back after the Orioles scored 6 in the bottom of the 4th. And I guess this is what we're going to expect down the stretch, Mike. It's playoff race baseball. Both these teams are in the race. They both need the wins.
You got that. Nobody is going to give up. It was a great answer by the Oakland A's offense. After the Orioles, it looked like you're going to put them away there. The huge grand slam by Brian Roberts, a 2-run home run shot by Adam Jones to knock their starter out. But they answered right back. And this is the way it's going to be, I think, the whole way down. You're playing these contending teams, and nobody is going to give up. Now you'll hope the Orioles can answer right back.
Well, the good news for the Orioles is even though it was a 4-run inning and they lost the lead, they trailed by just a run. So here's Adam Jones leading off against Jesse Chavez, who came on in relief of STRAILY. Adam with a 2-run home run to get the Orioles going in that 4th inning rally. There's a strike on 1. So the 7 runs for Oakland all charged to Norris, and they're all earned runs. There's a bouncer glove by Chavez. And he'll get Adam at first and one away here in the 5th inning. Time now for the 5th inning home run bonus for this inning only. Tonight's Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game will receive $500 for any Orioles home run. Mary Turner has already won $900 tonight. For your chance to be the Maryland Lottery hit a big contestant of the game, play 5-card cash. Go to mdlottery.com/Orioles to enter. Here's Matt Wieters. Matt 1 out of 2. He singled in the 4th to keep the Orioles rally going. Popped the foul out of play, back by us, 1-1.
Manager Bob Melving hoping that Jesse Chavez can get deeper into this ball game. Now his role is long relief and has been used in a lot of mop-up situations, but he's got enough in his arm. He's got a full arsenal: fastball, cutter, curve, change, and slider.
Wieters pops it up to shallow left. Long run in for Cespedes. Lowrie's there as well, but Cespedes gets to it. And the left fielder has it for the out. 2 away. When the Orioles win, everybody wins all season long. When the Orioles win and score 5 or more runs, that means pizza, 50% off regular menu prices online with your order at papajohns.com. All you got to do is enter the promo code Orioles5. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Valid at participating Baltimore area Papa John's. And 2 down. Here's Nick Markakis. Takes a strike. Nick drew a walk in the 6-run 4th inning. And another strike. 2 quick strikes from Chavez.
Chavez with the full arsenal, mixing up his pitches. He can rush his fastball up there at 95 at times. Hard cutter, and you just saw the big curveball to Nick Markakis.
Tried to hit that outside corner and missed. Chavez just turned 30, native of California. A little bit low. He has pitched in the big leagues with the Pirates, with the Braves, with Kansas City, with Toronto, and now Oakland. And Markakis goes down on strikes. Fastball by him. And the Orioles go 3 up, 3 down. So Chavez shuts him down. 6th inning coming up. Birds down by a run. By Antwerp and Toyota. Come to Antwerp and take the Yes test today. Visit any Antwerp dealership and find out if you pass. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Downtown Baltimore on a Friday night. Athletics lead at 7-6. And big crowd on hand. Fans having a lot of fun on this Friday night. It is fireworks night. And there have been a lot of fireworks at the plate. The Athletics with 7 runs on 11 hits. They have not yet been retired in order. And the Orioles have 6 runs on 4 hits, including a grand slam off the bat of Brian Roberts. So it's a 1-run game going to the 6th.
Well, Troy Patton and the Orioles would certainly love a quick inning. Every inning they've had to be out there for an extended period of time. Of course, that 5th inning, an extra long one. And the A's put 4 spots up on the board.
Jed Lowry, switch hitter, batting right now, swings through it 0-1 as Patton stays on. Patton got the final out finally, but he did allow a 2-run single to Sogard, so 2 inherited runners scored that were charged to Norris that gave Oakland the lead. He came out with the bases loaded and 2 down. Strike 2 called and gave up back-to-back hits before getting COCO crisp. Donaldson on deck, then Brandon Moss in the Oakland 6th inning. Swung on a miss, late on the swing, and a 3-pitch strikeout for Patton.
Nice job working that outside corner by Troy Patton, and Matt Wieters mixed in a backdoor slider, and this was painted away. Nice little 2-seamer. He just can't catch up to that one. Lowry, that fastball just beat him. He's been looking for something else.
The 1 down. Here is Josh Donaldson. And he'll take a strike. Donaldson had an RBI hit in the 4-run 5th inning. He is 1 out of 3. Swing and a miss. Wow. I think Wieters caught that ball on the ground.
Yeah. Going to chase Donaldson in there. And a lot of times hitters with the closed stance have to cheat. And he cheated a little bit too soon here on this slider. Almost fell down. He drops to that back knee.
5 pitches this inning, all strikes for Patton. Make it 6. Strike 3 called. Donaldson down on strikes and 2 away.
Some quality pitches right there by Troy Patton. Painted one away. A couple real good pitches inside. That is just a dotted fastball at 90 miles an hour right on the inside corner to lock Donaldson up.
Not sure what Donaldson was complaining about there. It came right to the glove and right into the view of the home plate umpire, Brian Honora. It came right at him over the corner. The 2 downers, Brandon Moss. And it's inside and hit him. So it got away from Patton there. First pitch that isn't a strike this inning is a hit by pitch. So a 2-out base runner for Oakland, so the streak continues. They have not yet been retired in order. Fans, tomorrow, Jason Hamill will be at Fido's for Freedom at 1200 Sandy Spring Road in Laurel from 10 a.m. until 11. For a $10 charitable donation, Jason will sign autographs and help raise money for Fido's for Freedom and their work to provide specially trained hearing dogs, service dogs, and therapy dogs to individuals with disabilities, children with reading difficulties, and patients in healthcare facilities. That's tomorrow, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., 1200 Sandy Spring Road in Laurel. And that is a real good cause.
It sure is. So many of the Orioles players are involved in some great causes in the community.
And if you're an animal lover, that's a nice event to attend, as those dogs will be trained to go into service. Patton falls behind Cespedes 2-0. Moss on at first after being hit by the pitch. Foul ball out of play. I think the biggest at bat in that 5th inning was the base hit by Seth Smith. After the line drive that Moss hit into that turned into a double play, Smith hit it against the shift. It would have been a routine ground ball to short, except Hardy was on the other side of the bag, so he hit it against the shift. Good piece of hitting, and came through the big hit to keep the inning going. That one inside, 3-1. Notice there's two things about the shift. One, you're playing the tendencies, but then two, your pitcher has to pitch towards the shift.
Well, that's what you try to do. Even though a lot of times, you know, by the book, I think when the scouting reports come out, and Bobby Dickerson looks at the reports, he sees what pitches have been hit into those spots. So there's pretty good coverage there, and I'm sure the pitchers are on top of that as well. And I think a lot of it just has to do what a hitter wants to do with the baseball. And most times nowadays, hitters are one-dimensional. They're trying to pull the ball. That's why there's so many dramatic shifts.
Runner will go on 3-2 with 2 down. And a hard hit ball right to Roberts off the mound. And he'll get it to first just in time. So that time the shift paid dividends as Cespedes hits into the shift. A hit batsman, 1 left. Bottom of the 6th coming up. Birds down by a run.
Tonight, Brandon Moss with the solo shot in the 3rd inning off Bud Norris, but Adam Jones in the 4th, he has an answer for that. Oh yeah, 2-run shot up into the flag court, and the 4th inning isn't done yet. Brian Roberts with a grand slam as the ball goes out onto the flag court. But Eric Sogard with a single to score 2 and get the Oakland A's back on top in the 5th. Here's the game summary. The A's have the lead 7-6 in the ball game. Brian Roberts 1 for 2 with the grand slam. COCO Crisp with a big night. Remember, Geico saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Ball 1 taken by J.J. Hardy, leading off in the Orioles 6th. And there's a strike at the knees. Flaherty on deck, then Brian Roberts against Chavez. Who has quieted the Oriole bat since coming on. Came on following the grand slam, allowed a 2-out walk to Machado, but then got out of it by striking out Davis, then pitched a 3-up, 3-down 5th inning. Waves at the breaking ball, 2-2.
Well, that's what makes him so effective in coming out of the pen. A lot of weapons, and he has plus weapons at times. If he's in the zone, he can be a very effective pitcher.
Second base Sogard, and Hardy's retired and 1 away. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Turned into a beautiful night downtown. There was a little bit of rain just before batting practice. The tarp was actually on the field, but then they were able to pull the tarp, and BP commenced. Ryan Flaherty fouls it off, 0-1. Ryan contributed in the 6-run rally in the 4th. He got the base hit to load the bases ahead of Brian Roberts. Down and in, 1-1. Minnesota is leading at Cleveland 4-1 in the 7th. Indians a half game ahead of the Orioles. Ooh, borderline pitch. Flaherty thought it was low.
Ryan Flaherty letting Brian Honora know he thinks that one was down in the zone. Buck Showalter not approving either.
Well, instead of 2-1, it's 1-2. Outside. And 2-2 on Flaherty, 1 out, nobody on. And he got him. Down on strikes goes Flaherty. And 2 away. Here's our Lexus drive of the game, brought to you by Lexus of Towson, the Baltimore area's #1 Lexus dealer. Come see why they're #1, LexusofTowson.com. The grand slam by Brian Roberts in the 4th. The Lexus drive of the game. Yep, the fireworks on fireworks night exploding. And it was his first grand slam since 2009. 2006, he actually hit one out onto Utah Street. He got himself a plaque. And tonight's grand slam went onto the flag court. So 0-1 on Brian, and that's where it landed. That usher's been busy.
Yeah, he has a lot of action out there.
1-1 on Roberts, 2 outs and nobody on. 6 in a row retired by Chavez. There's a strike, and it's 1-2. Well, Chavez has done exactly what Bob Melvin needed him to do. He has quieted the Orioles. Outside, 2-2. Francisco Rodriguez continues to get loose. He was up during the 6th inning when Patton was on. Looks like he's on the verge of coming in the game. Ryan fouls it off the other way and stays alive with 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You really have to be impressed with what Chavez is doing right now. Boy, after that 4th inning, thought the Orioles were going to score about 50 runs. He's neutralized them, mixing up all of his pitches, not making many mistakes, and he's keeping the ball down in the zone.
Runs the count full, 3-2 on Brian, batting with 2 outs and nobody on. The Orioles have gone 3 up and 3 down 3 of their first 5 at-bats in this game, and there's 2 outs and the bases empty here. Oakland has not yet been retired in order. And the 3-2 is fouled back. Chavez has 3 strikeouts. He has walked a batter, but has not yet allowed a hit since coming on with 2 outs in the 4th inning following the grand slam. And fights it off to stay alive. So STRAILY gets a no decision. 3 1/3, 6 earned runs on 4 hits. Bud Norris is on the hook for a loss if the Orioles don't come back. All 7 runs charged to Bud in 4 2/3 innings. Going to bounce it towards second. Sogard waits on the hop. They'll get Roberts. And another 3 up, 3 down inning. So the Orioles 4 times tonight have gone in order. We'll head to the 7th. Rodriguez coming on in a 1-run game. at 4 o'clock, and then tune into Masson again on Sunday for the series finale. Our coverage begins at 1 o'clock with those extra presented by Geico, followed by game coverage at 1:30. We've got all the access you need right here on Masson. 36,761 the crowd here tonight. A real nice crowd on fireworks night. A lot of fireworks at the plate. Oakland 7 runs on 11 hits. The Orioles 6 runs on 4 hits. And here is Francisco Rodriguez coming on in the 7th.
Yeah, be his 37th appearance on the year. 2.04 earned run average with 42 strikeouts in 35 1/3 innings work. Opponents hitting .220. Lefties just 137. Righties up there at 333. But he has the equalizer against the lefties. A devastating changeup. He's going to have to face a few of them in this ball game.
He will face 3 straight left-handed batters, beginning with Seth Smith, who is 1 out of 3 and had a big single in that 5th inning rally. And it's a little low, 1-0. Rodriguez has actually fared much better as you see the shift again against Smith, against left-handed batters. They're batting just .208 against him. Righties .353. So he pitches backwards.
Well, he's got that changeup, and really that's his go-to pitch against lefties. It's a dangerous pitch against right-handers, but so effective as it fades down and away. Saw a really good one right there against Smith.
1-1 on Smith. Just inside with a fastball. So Smith snapped out of an 0 for 14 with that single. He scored in the 5th inning. In fact, his run gave Oakland the lead. Foul back, 2-2. The Oakland bullpen is silent. Jesse Chavez has retired 8 of the 9 Orioles since coming on. Appears to be staying in the game.
Yeah, he's pretty strong. Now, he just got called up from AAA, and they stretched him out down there, and he pitched 18 1/3 over 3 games, so he can be extended a little bit.
2-2, a slice to left. Long run from McLouth. He'll get there. And Nate has it for the out and 1 away. Nate covers a lot of ground out there towards the gap in left center field. 1 down.
Something that gets overlooked with outfielders is their first step quickness. So many times you think about an infielder has to make quick first steps to get the balls in the hole. Well, Nate McLouth just had a great first step and a nice angle to that ball, hit deep to the left center field gap.
Here's CALLASPO, 1 out, nobody on. Breaking balls inside. CALLASPO drew a walk to load the bases. He was the last batter Bud Norris faced, with the Orioles leading at 6-5 in the 5th. Fastball for a strike. Perfect pitch on the outside corner. 1-1. Rodriguez is well rested. He has not worked since Monday. He pitched an inning in the Monday loss to Tampa. It's only his 3rd appearance on this homestand. He pitched last Friday against Colorado and then Monday against Tampa Bay. Bouncer foul straight at the plate, and then it hit CALLASPO. 1-2.
Well, he had tweaked his groin a little bit. I think they were a little cautious. Now, Rodriguez said that he was fine. He was going to get his treatment and didn't want to miss any opportunity to pitch out of the bullpen. But Buck Showalter being a little bit careful with Rodriguez, and now obviously showing that he's fully healthy and ready to go.
1-2 the count. And it's upstairs. CALLASPO has yet to put the ball in play tonight. in 3 plate appearances. He has struck out and he has walked twice. Brian O'Nora doing some manicuring around the plate there. Two and two, 1 out, nobody on. And another foul ball. This has been one of those games where the Athletics have done an outstanding job prolonging at bats. That foul ball hit right in front of Chris Tillman, tomorrow's pitcher.
And they have. And Bud Norris had a hard time putting this Oakland A's offense away when he got to 2 strikes. Troy Patton had a hard time with that as well.
Pitch bounces in for a full count.
The motivational words from their manager really sparked them to have better focus and understanding of how critical these games are going to be down the stretch.
From 1-2 to 3-2 on CALLASPO. And he got him. A strikeout of CALLASPO and 2 away.
That is a filthy changeup right there. With a great sell, the leg kick and the arm speed, and a great late fade on an 86-mile-an-hour changeup to get CALLASPO out in front. Boy, great location on that pitch.
Now the call to the bullpen. Kurt Young, the pitching coach, making the call. And here is Eric Sogard, who's had a good night. A little bit low, 1-0. 2 outs and nobody on. And another bouncer, that's 2-0. This is the 3rd time tonight the Orioles have retired the first 2 Oakland batters. In the 2nd inning, Sogard is at the plate now, singled with 2 down to keep that inning going. And then in the 6th inning, Patton hit Moss with 2 down. That kept that inning going. Roller foul, 2-1.
And that's the confidence that Frankie Rodriguez has in that changeup. Good hitting count, 2-0. Throws a nice changeup in there.
Blevins and Cook. Blevins the lefty, Cook the righty. Rodriguez deals 2-1. And a bunt. And it rolls foul. That was a real good idea by Sogard just to try to get on with 2 men out, but he bunted it foul.
It sure was. Maybe he thought he had no chance against that changeup. Try to lay the bunt out.
So from 2-0 to 2-2 on Sogard.
Anybody that lays a bunt down towards Manny Machado, it better be a perfect place, because Manny Machado is the best in the business at that bare hand play. And he has great quickness in coming in on the ball.
You see how deep he is. That may be why Sogard decided, what the heck, I'll try it. So 2-2 the count, 2 down, and the base is empty. And foul back. Well, 2-2 on yet another foul ball. And a little low, ball 3, wouldn't chase.
Frankie Rodriguez a little impressed about that take right there. That was a nice changeup at the bottom of the zone, and he took it like he knew it was coming.
So 3-2 with 2 outs and the base is empty. And he got him. Rodriguez with the swinging strikeout. And for the first time tonight, Athletics go in order. 7th inning stretch at Camden Yards. Birds down by a run. The 2014 Orioles Pet Calendar presented by High's Dairy Stores. Proceeds from this new 15-month calendar benefit Orioles Reach and Barks, the Baltimore Animal Rescue and Care Shelter. Pick up your calendar today before they sell out. You can visit Orioles.com/pet calendar or grab a copy on your next visit to the ballpark. Fans enjoying their 7th inning stretch. And they'd enjoy a rally even more. Go Orioles. Birds with a 6-run 4th inning. The trail now 7-6. Buck Showalter, Bill Castro going over the pitching charts, the matchups.
Yeah, all their hits coming in that 4th inning as well.
On the top of the lineup, Nate McLeod takes ball 1. Machado on deck and then Davis. Nate is 0 for 2. He has gotten on base with a walk. Takes a strike. Jesse Chavez has settled this game down for Oakland. And it bounces ball 2. He is not allowed a hit. He has faced 9 batters, retired 8 of those. The second batter he faced in the 4th after he came on with 2 down was Machado, and Machado walked. That's the only base runner off Chavez. Ball 3 high. Of course, despite the rally by Oakland, it is only a 1-run game. Outside ball 4. Leadoff walk. Tying run is on. And we'll see if that's the opening the Orioles need. And here comes Bob Melvin. With Machado coming up, looks like we're going to get a pitching change, although he has not yet signaled.
He definitely wanted to take him as far as he could go.
And he dramatically pointed to his right arm. I guess there was a situation in Boston where the manager pointed to the wrong arm and the wrong pitcher came in. But Cook's going to come on. Tying run is on. Nobody out in the Orioles 7th.
A marvelous job for the Oakland A's out of the pen to really kind of quiet the Orioles offense. But Cook, this will be his 56th game with a 2.10 earned run average and 52 strikeouts in 55 2/3 innings of work. Opponents hitting just 200 off him. Lefties up to 264, but right-handers just 153. He's got a power arm, a real live fastball. He can get up in the high 90s. Take a look at his heritage runner stranded at 62%. But the power fastball, hard slider to go along with it. Both lefties and righties will see that mix. Lefties may see an occasional changeup as well.
All right, another thing to look out for here, Mike, is how quick is he to the plate with the Orioles' best stolen base man on at first in Nate McLeod.
Yeah, not the best times for him. So great opportunity for Nate McLeod to take advantage and get into scoring position.
Now you also have Manny Machado here, who is as good as anyone on the Orioles going the other way with the pitch, and there's a lot of room on that right side with McLeod being held. Go ahead run at the plate, tying run at first, quick throw, and diving back in is McLeod. So Cook cooperates right away and gives Wayne Kirby a chance to time that move.
And he shows his best move early.
There goes Nate. Pitch taken. Throw to second is high and a stolen base. On the tying run in scoring position with nobody out.
Did not waste any time right there. Nate McLeod, Wayne Kirby said, hey, you got to go. Guy's slow to the plate after a move. He's gone. And Nate the skate in there safely in a big situation for the Orioles. See the throw. He tried to get it there as quick as possible. The slow time from Cook allows Nate McLeod to get in there safely.
Oakland now is looking for a possible bunt. And Manny takes outside, 1-1. Manny does have 7 sacrifices on the year, but you wouldn't think this would be a time where he would do it. He's the go-ahead run at the plate. Line drive, base hit left field. McLeod will be held at third. Machado hit it too hard. Got to Cespedes on a big bounce. So the tying run is at third. Go-ahead run at first, and nobody out in the Orioles 7th.
Yeah, really what makes Manny Machado such a dangerous hitter are those long levers he has. He was actually fooled on the pitch. They kept that bat head through the zone a long time. It's an off-speed pitch, but look at him reach out there. Touches it to left field. One hopper to Cespedes. Bobby Dickerson has to hold Nate McLeod up.
So Manny's 160th base hit of the year. And here's Chris Davis. Orioles now 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position. That one couldn't score a run because it was hit so hard. And a swing and a foul. Got a piece of the catcher, Stephen Vogt.
See the velocity on the fastball that Cook possesses. That one at 96 miles an hour. Kind of hard to time it up. He has some funky arm action going with the stab in the back.
First and third, nobody down. Birds down by a run. And a roll of foul. We've been talking all about Davis and his home run exploits. Well, how about RBIs? 116 RBIs coming in tonight. That is the 10th best. He's tied with 2 others for 10th best all time. And he quickly has a chance to move up this list on the all-time RBI list. Miguel Tejada, 150 back in 2004.
Yeah, and there's Chris Davis down there with 116. Got a lot of time left, too.
And it's high. He doesn't chase 1 and 2. Davis, in the month of August, Mike, has hits in 16 of the 18 games coming into tonight. And he has 17 RBIs in the month.
Well, he stayed pretty consistent all year, but when he gets rolling, he can put up big numbers in a hurry.
Machado chased back. Wayne Kirby informing him of the time. There's Nate McLeod, the tying run at third, and nobody down. Now, Davis has utilized the sac fly on the year. He's got 7 of them. Outside, ball 2. Chris has not put the ball in play yet tonight. He has walked twice, he has struck out, and he has scored a run. Machado and McLouth on for Davis with nobody down. Oh, good cut. Wow.
Boy, he was on that 98-mile-an-hour offering from Ryan Cook. One of the dangers about Chris Davis, he gets his arms extended. We've seen his power to all fields.
Big numbers for Chris. Hit towards second and past the glove of Sogard in the right field, and we are tied. And Machado read it all the way, and he will get to third. A blistering shot past Sogard, and it's a 7-7 game.
Hard hit ball by Chris Davis. Sogard kind of playing it off to the side. I think he tried to rush the double play turn. See Chris Davis going down and getting it down and away. The one hopper. Yeah, Eric Sogard just a little quick. Went off the tip of the glove. Manny Machado hustling on into third base, but Nate McLouth to score and tie this game up.
That is an error on Sogard. Davis could care less about that. He got the run in. That ball was hit so hard. Tough error, but nonetheless, the game is tied, and the Orioles have the go-ahead run at third and nobody out.
Well, the A's defense has really let them down here recently. They've committed now 19 errors in the last 21 games. Not there to pick up Ryan Cook, a potential double play ball.
Now he should get an RBI on that, because they were playing back for a double play since the tying run was at third, and it is an RBI. So E4, and there's an RBI. And here's Adam Jones. Slow roller towards third. Here comes Machado. Playing go to first, and out at first is Jones. Machado scores, and the Orioles have the lead.
Put it in play and good things will happen. Pretty good pitch from Cook. Two-seamer that ran in. Adam Jones puts it in play. Nice job of base running by Manny Machado. Score the go-ahead run as Chris Davis stays in scoring position out at second base with just one out.
So Davis with an RBI, 117, ties Albert Bell for the 9th best RBI season in Orioles history. Adam Jones has a 3 RBI night. He now has 94, and the Orioles have the lead back at 8-7. And here's Matt Wieters. Davis is at second, and there's still only one down in the inning. Matt 1 out of 3 with a single and a run scored. Foul back.
Ryan Cook has been rock solid for the Oakland A's out of the bullpen as well. Just 2 earned runs allowed in his last 22 1/3 innings of work. The Orioles able to get to him here in the 7th inning.
1-1 on Wieters. Ooh, chased a pitch that sailed away at 97. That shows you how explosive that fastball is.
Yeah, that ball just took off up and out of the zone, but when you're gearing up to hit 97, 98, sometimes you overcommit. That's what Matt Wieters did right there.
Well, it has been a game of rallies, and the Orioles have the lead back at 8-7. 1-2 to Wieters. Slow roller towards third. Tough play for Donaldson. Here he comes. He picks it up. He throws. Safe at first as Wieters legs it out for a hit. Wheels Wieters gets it done.
Pretty impressive speed by Matt Wieters. Boy, he smelled that one right out of the box. Donaldson with another tester. Take a look at him. He's leaning there. He wants this base hit. He gets it. Nice effort by the third baseman, but good speed by Matt Wieters. Keep this inning going.
So now the Orioles with the lead, looking for add-on runs and have the corners covered with only one down. So that error is looming larger, even though the Orioles would have tied on that ball hit by Davis. If Sogard gets Davis, there's 2 outs in the inning. But now Nick Markakis has a chance for an add-on run, first and third, and 1 down. Infield up tight. And a base hit to center field for Markakis. Here's Davis to score. 9-7 Orioles. A 3-run inning here in the 7th.
Pretty impressive inning by the Orioles offense. Nice bit of hitting by Nick Markakis. Taking the fastball right back through the box to score Davis. Take a look at the swing here. Staying on this 2-seamer. Right back through the box. Chris Davis scoring easily in the inning. Keeps on rolling.
Well, Nick, of course, has this streak going. That's his 30th consecutive single. And I guarantee you he's okay with that right now.
He is absolutely fine with that.
Here's J.J. Hardy, still only 1 out. And there's a strike. Jerry Blevins once again getting loose. He had been getting loose, but when Cook came in, he sat down. What a game. 9-7 Orioles. Power versus power there, and J.J. swings through it. Chris Davis and Jim Presley talking about his at-bat, how he hit that ball.
Yeah, talking about the changeup that faded down and away.
0-2 is a bloop to left. Cespedes was deep. Here he comes. It'll hang long enough for him to get there for the 2nd out. This has been a strange game for the Orioles, Mike. They have gone 3 up and 3 down in 4 of their at-bats. But yet in the 4th inning, they scored 6 runs, sending 10 men to the plate. Here in the 7th, they have scored 3 runs. They're about to send their 8th man to the plate.
I know, it's been pretty amazing, but very productive in the 2 innings that they've gotten their hits.
So they've had a run driven in on an error, an RBI ground out, and an RBI single to center. And here is Ryan Flaherty, who is 1 out of 3. He has 2 on and 2 out. And it gets away from the catcher, and the runners are going to move up. That looked like VOGTC.
Yeah, I think that fastball just beat his catcher. Got away from him. Nice heads-up base running by Matt Wieters. Take a look at the fastball. Now it missed its spot by a couple feet, but right off the tip of the glove, and then the shin guard kicks away. Plenty far enough for Matt Wieters to get on into third base.
And it is a pass ball. So 2 in scoring position with 2 down for Flaherty. Foul got a piece of both, 1-1. He was involved in a collision at home plate the other day and was able to shake it off. Ryan Singleton scored in the 4th. He is the 8th Oriole to bat in the 7th inning. One and one the count. Off speed. Real good idea there, and it's 1-2.
Beautiful changeup. That's the same pitch that Chris Davis was able to stay on and cause Sogard to make that error. A great late fade on the change.
Chris Davis and the Orioles not only have the lead back, it's a 2-run lead. And the 1-2 is foul back. Well, the Athletics have done a real good job with base hits with 2 strikes in this game. Flaherty's trying to do that here. Wieters at third and Markakis at second, both in scoring position. Both will be off with the swing with 2 men down. Fine. 1-2 the count. And another foul ball straight back. I'll tell you what, Mike, you watch Ryan Flaherty, everybody in this organization just has to have the utmost respect for how he stays ready, not knowing when he's going to get in. With Brian Roberts back, he's no longer playing as much as he was, and yet he always finds a way to contribute.
He sure does. I mean, he works as hard as anybody. His pregame are typically his games with the limited playing time, so he has to put himself in a game frame of mind. Every opportunity he gets to come out and hit extra with hitting coach Jim Presley, he's on the field doing that. He works on every aspect of his game, takes ground balls at all the positions, fly balls as well. Such a versatile player and adds so much value to this team.
Another foul ball. What an at-bat here. Well, among the many tremendous things Dan Duquette has done since taking over the Orioles is adding quality depth. You never know when you're going to need guys, and who knew that the Rule 5 player from a year ago and Ryan Flaherty would become an intricate role player in this team.
Exactly. I mean, you pick up so many pieces in the off seasons, and you hope that they're the type of players that you're thinking about. And Ryan Flaherty has certainly turned out to be one of those.
Well, a bouncer back to Cook. Flaherty's out. Inning ends, but a big inning for the Orioles. They send 8 men to the plate, score 3 times. Adam Jones and the Birds have the lead back. Candidates. Brian Roberts has a grand slam, which at the time gave the Orioles the lead. How about Adam Jones? He has a 2-run home run that got the Orioles on the board. And then the go-ahead or big RBI in the 7th inning. He drove in the 2nd run in that rally. And then COCO Crisp, who's had a big game for the Athletics. He has 3 out of 4 in his at-bats tonight, including a home run. Text in your vote now and have your voice heard, A, B, or C, to 31826. Well, the Orioles being out-hit, but they have outscored Oakland 9-7.
Tommy Hunter now in the ballgame. This will be his 53rd appearance out of the Orioles bullpen. A nice 2.63 earned run average with 48 strikeouts and 68 1/3 innings. He did pick up a save the other day, has 4 on the year. Opponents hitting .209, lefties .288, and the righties just .129.
Well, he takes over for Francisco Rodriguez, who had a 3-up, 3-down 7th inning. And Stephen Vogt takes a strike. The number 9 batter, Crisp, is on deck, and then Lowry. Vogt 1 out of 3. He singled in the 5th inning rally in which Oakland scored 4 runs. This one's lifted to left. Playable for McLouth. 1 down in the Oakland 8th. Fans, MLB.com at Bat is celebrating 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball. It's available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Orioles baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, highlights, and more. Text at Bat to 31826 or visit Orioles.com for all the details. Tommy the Thunder Hunter. Well, he sure can bring the thunder. That's sort of the thunder. He's not really loose yet.
No, just 94.
Barkley hit foul 1-1. Tampa Bay has defeated the Yankees 7-2 as Archer continues to pitch well. And Hiroki Kuroda, who had been pitching well, 7 runs on 9 hits in 6 innings. So if the Orioles hold on here, the Yankees will fall a game and a half back of them. They're in 4th place, New York is. And Minnesota won at Cleveland 5-1. So if the Orioles hold on here, they'll leapfrog over Cleveland into the 3rd position for the wild card. They can't gain on Tampa, but they'd only be 2 back of Oakland. So this could be a very productive night for the Orioles. There's first things first. They still need 5 more outs.
Nice pitch right there by Tommy Hunter in the bottom of the zone. Now hitters gearing up for the fastball, but this is a little changeup, believe it or not, 90 miles an hour. Some good action.
Tommy picked up the save and the win on Wednesday. That's his last appearance. Two is fouled back, a defensive swing. Tommy has 5 consecutive scoreless appearances going back to August 14th in Arizona. And in his last 5 appearances, he's allowed only 2 base hits total. 1 out, nobody on, and 2-2 on Crisp. Hard hit ball, and a base hit in the right field. Well, he came off speed and helped him out. That's the 2nd time tonight that Crisp has gotten a changeup and delivered. The home run off Bud Norris in the 3rd was off speed. May have been a slider that didn't break, but it was off speed, and that was off speed, and he rips it in the right field.
Well, so many times, a lot of times it's really not the pitch selection, it's the location, and that was a changeup that was just about letter high, and he stayed on top of it and hammered it down past Chris Davis. If it's bought down in the zone, a much more effective pitch.
Here's Jed Lowry, the switch hitter. COCO Crisp has a 4-hit game. That ties the Athletics high for hits in a game this season, the 11th time that an Athletics batter has had 4. The last to do it was Nate Fryman, August 15th. Lowry fouls it back out of play, couldn't get around on it. So, of course, right after the Orioles rally to get the lead with 3 in the 7th, Oakland brings the tying run to the plate. It's been that kind of night. Athletics now have 12 base hits. And they foul back again, 0-2. Their season high for hits in a game is 19. Well, there's still 7 off that. That was June the 3rd in Milwaukee. That's a lot of hits in one game.
Sure is. There's their hitting coach, Chili Davis. He loves to see those big numbers up there. He also loves the fact that this team is not giving up. A lot of teams might have just rolled over after that 4th inning outburst by the Orioles offense, but they had a great answer in the next inning.
Fastball rides high, 1-2. The save for Tommy on Wednesday night, his 4th on the year. Crisp has good speed at first. And gets some attention from Tommy Hunter. See him edging his lead off and trying to get some traction. Outside. What was that pitch? Was that a cutter?
No, changeup.
At 90?
Oh, yeah. Tommy's throwing his fastball 97, 98. Might not be a true change, maybe more of a BP type fastball, but it looks like it's got the action. Got some late fade on it.
Well, 2-2 the count on Lowry is. Again, foul balls. Another foul ball. The Athletics have now hit 37 foul balls in this game, helping prolong at-bats.
Yeah,
37.
That's a lot. The Orioles pitchers having a hard time finding the swing and miss pitch when they get ahead.
Another 2-2 pitch. Foul back. That one was in 98, so I think he's loose. That youngster's ready. It's Orioles hockey style mask. Gets away from Wieters, but COCO Chris plays it safe, and the count has gone full 3-2.
Nice recovery right there by Matt Wieters. Cutter just gets away a little bit. It stays on the dirt though, and Wieters pounces on that one. Keep crisp at first.
And we'll see what COCO Crisp does on 3-2 with one down. The ninth pitch is about to come to Jed Lowrie in this at bat. Tommy shook off two signs there. Runner doesn't go, and a foul ball, of course.
Nice pitch though. Cutter running in on him, and Lowrie finding a way to keep this at bat alive.
Six foul balls in this at bat, and he's about to see the 10th pitch. Runner is going, swinging a fly ball towards right center field. Adam Jones over toward, has it for the out. Crisp was down at second base. Adam had that one all the way, just glided to it, and two men down. So Tommy Hunter wins that battle.
Boy, and it was a tough one though. Lowrie made him work for that out. Manny Machado up there to give him a little breather.
Here is Josh Donaldson, who is 1 out of 4 with an RBI single. No chance at that one. 0-1.
Donaldson's been a little bit in between in this ball game. And Tommy Hunter ties him up right there on a first pitch fastball up in the zone.
And a high fly ball to center field. Adam Jones is there, and he's got it. Well, Tommy Hunter gets out of it. A base hit, a man left. Bottom of the 8th coming up. The Birds look for insurance. Contribute $50 to support the Y of Central Maryland's Fit and Fun program. To date, the Orioles have drawn 322 walks for a total of $16,100. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and a more active lifestyle. Well, the Orioles, with 6 in the 4th and 3 in the 7th, have a 9-7 lead despite being out hit 12-7 by the Athletics, and another pitcher on for the A's as we go to the 8th.
Yeah, lefty Jerry Blevins now comes into the ballgame. This will be his 56th appearance with a 3.35 earned run average. Does have 43 strikeouts and 48 1/3 innings of work. Opponents hitting 222. Lefties up to 273, but he controls the right-handers to just a 182 batting average. He's got all 4 pitches: fastball, curveball, slider, and change, and he will use them all.
He'll face Brian Roberts to lead off, who will flip over to the other side and bat right-handed. Nate McLouth, the left-handed batters on deck, and then Manny Machado, and nobody behind Blevins in the bullpen. So the Orioles look for some insurance. 3 outs away from a win in the opener in this series. And it's outside, 1-0. So a 2-run lead is good. A 3-run lead is better when you need to get 3 outs to win it. So the Orioles will do whatever they can to get that added run to make it easier in the 9th inning, and starters sure like it. One thing about this group, and I'm sure it's the same with many other teams, but we're with the Orioles every day, you really gain an appreciation for how much they like each other as friends and teammates.
Yeah, it's a close-knit clubhouse for sure. And it really starts in spring training. Jim Johnson up in the bullpen for the Orioles. Buck Showalter does a lot of things to really bring his team together. He's put games in the locker room. Talk about the ping pong and the pool tables, and just makes it a fun atmosphere. It is a good group with a common goal.
And it's outside, ball 3, and Buck goes out of his way to remind everybody that the clubhouse is in fact the players. And Buck has an office. The coaches have their own area where they dress, and they each have a desk so they can do their prep work in there. And it's their home away from home, and he wants them to be comfortable in it. 3-2 is fouled off. He was asked the other day if he was bothered by the table tennis tournament that came on Wednesday when the kids came over from the Maryland Table Tennis Association. He said, why would I be bothered? They're having fun. Let them relax a little bit.
That's right. It's a great distraction. You know, keeps them loose. They all enjoyed that. They enjoy all the extra distractions. A lot of pressure on them. But when it comes game time and they cross the lines, there's the ultimate focus.
How about that at bat? Brian Roberts, 8 pitches to draw a leadoff walk, and the Orioles now can play for insurance. That is the 7th walk the Orioles have in this game.
We talked about Brian Roberts' ability to work a pitcher. That's a great example right there in a big-time situation where they would love an extra run or 2.
Here's Nate McLouth. The season high for the Orioles. They drew 8 walks against Colorado last Saturday. Nate shows bunt. Bunts it, nearly hit his fingers. That ball moved a lot on him.
Boy, that chased him, didn't it? Wow, that almost got his hand. He leans out there thinking about the bunt. Man, oh man, right in between the thumb and the index finger. I do not know how it did not miss a piece of Nate McLouth.
Throw to first to chase Roberts back. Brian has not been running to steal bases since coming off the DL, but the Athletics still respect his ability to steal a base. They also want to keep him close. That's a huge add-on run if the Orioles can get him around. McLouth does have 4 sacks on the year. He's going to swing away now, and he takes low.
There are a lot of reasons in those type of situations that pitchers throw over. Try to see if Nate's going to show bunt again. They can put a more aggressive bunt play on. See if Brian Roberts is leaning. Possible hit and run situation. A lot of things come into play.
The 1-1 shows bunt again, and he fouls it straight back. Blevins was acquired from Chicago July of 2007 by Oakland. He was a minor leaguer at the time, so all his big league experience has been with the Athletics. One and two on McLeod with Roberts at first and nobody down. And again a throw to first, and it bounces. Bob Melvin wondering what was that?
Yeah, exactly. What is going on over there?
And another throw, and that one almost bounced. Now, one thing, of course, that we don't know up here is if Melvin is telling him to do that. Vogt looks into the dugout before he puts down the signs, and he may be getting a sign, throw to first. Comes home now, and Nate swings through it. There's a strikeout and one away. So Nate can't get the bunt down, and he strikes out. And one away here in the Oriole eighth.
Yeah, tough at bat for Nate McLeod. Couple bunt attempts, and then chases the riding fastball as it goes up and in. On him, he can't quite hold up. Second guessing the swing at the end, but too late as the bat head goes through the zone.
Manny Machado, 1 out of 3, singled and scored in the 7th inning rally. And it's low, 1-0, and it gets away. Roberts is going to try for second. The throw, he is safe. What a slide to the back of the bag.
Sure was. Nice aggressive read by Brian Roberts. He hesitated for a second. He wanted to make sure Vogt didn't quite know where it was. A little stutter, and then off he goes. But anticipating the throw going to be there, slides to that back corner. A nice play by Brian Roberts. And now in the scoring position, you see that slide and reaches in just to catch the back edge of the base before the tag from Sogard.
So the bunt didn't work, and Brian got down there anyway in a wild pitch. So Blevins makes a real good pitch to get McLeod, and then he gives the Orioles a break. 1-0 on Machado. Roberts takes off. Pitch is taken. No throw to third. And there's a stolen base, his second on the year, and his first since Game 3 of the season in Tampa.
Big stolen base right there, and he is so adept at stealing third. Timing is everything, and that is just beautiful there by Brian Roberts. He gets out, and off he goes on the first move. Uncontested steal of third base.
Machado took it. Now runner at third, and the infield drawn in. 1-1 the count. Inside, ball 2. Five for 12 with runners in scoring position, so pretty good night for the Birds.
Yeah, both teams very productive with runners in scoring position.
2-1 on Manny. Breaking ball ripped down the left field line towards the corner. Foul ball. Just foul.
Well, he's been flirting with that line a couple times in this ball game. One, a foul ball home run. And that one just floated a couple feet foul.
That ball hung so much, Manny was a little bit out in front. And instead of it staying fair, he pulled it foul. And 2-2 the count. Pop foul slicing down the right field line. That's back toward the crowd and out of play. Big enthusiastic crowd here tonight on fireworks night. Just under 37,000 fans. Nishek now getting loose. A lot of orange out there. Two-two pitch to Machado coming. Breaking ball's fouled back. Very effective defensive swing.
Yeah, I'll say. He took that one right off the ground, got completely fooled on the pitch, and we've talked about Manny, the ability with the long arms to reach out and put off-speed pitches in play and or fight them off, and that was a great example there.
Another 2-2 pitch. Pokes foul. The Orioles are returning the favor with these foul balls.
And you fight off tough pitches and you hope a pitcher makes mistakes. Right now, Blevins working the perimeter with all of his offerings, and Manny is fighting them off, keeping the at-bat alive.
This will be the 8th pitch to Machado. He has fouled off 4 in a row. And he got him. He went upstairs and Machado couldn't reach it. A huge out for Blevins and 2 away.
Chased the fastball up and away earlier. Able to just make contact, but Blevins doesn't give in. He says, hey, he bit once, let's try it again. And this one he goes a little bit taller. And man, he can't quite hold up on this one. High fastball.
And he's not out of it yet. Here is Chris Davis. Reached on an error, drove in a run in the 7th. Tried to time it and fouls it back 0-1. The Orioles in this inning have yet to put the ball in play. Roberts walked. With the second on the wild pitch, stole third. McLeod and Machado back-to-back swinging strikeouts. Orioles up by 2. Would love to get Roberts in from third. Sharply hit foul. Bounces up into the crowd. And Davis down in the count, 0-2. Here's Bryant at third. Called strike 3. Davis knew it, fooled by the pitch, and Blevins strikes out the side. Roberts left stranded. Here we go. O's 3 outs away from the win. Johnson getting set. Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Fans posing by the Cal Ripken bronze sculpture in Legends Park in center field. Tremendous likeness of Cal there.
Yeah. Jim Johnson now in the ball game. Fans seeing a great one. They'd love for Jim Johnson to close this one out. It'll be his 60th appearance. 39 saves in the 48 opportunities. He's hit a bump in the road. He does have the 42 strikeouts. Opponents average 280. Lefties 272 and the righties at 289. Jim Johnson, he's blown his last 3 save chances after converting 10 straight. So they're hoping that he can get back on track with a save tonight.
Brandon Moss leads off, and there's a strike, and it's 0-1. Cespedes on deck, and then Smith. His last save was August 6th in San Diego, the first game of that last road trip. Strike 2.
Good fastballs right there from Jim Johnson. Nice movement at 94 miles an hour coming back over the inside corner.
And he got him. A 3-pitch strikeout, 1 away. Good start to the ninth for Johnson.
Sure was. Some good fastballs and a nice changeup to finish him off. Look at the pitch here as it fades down and away. Shows that he's going to use the fastball, and then that's how you set him up with a good change.
Fans are pumped. Looking for Jim to succeed. The Orioles need him to succeed to get to where they want to get to, and that's the postseason. Buck Showalter continues to remind everybody, he said it again today, we heard it in the soundbite we used, whatever's yesterday is yesterday. You just don't worry about it. You got to focus on what's at hand. It's very important. Diving stop by Machado. He gets up and throws out at first. He got him in an eyelash. And 2 men are down.
Fans come to their feet after a beautiful defensive play by Manny Machado. Oh yeah, they're not worthy. This is a Gold Glove third baseman here, ranging to his left, and then the pirouette and the strong throw to just get Cespedes in time. Jim Johnson appreciating that play. Oh yeah, did it again.
Place is electric. Strike 1 to Seth Smith. You know, the Orioles are the top defensive team in the American League, in large part because of number 13. Does it time and again. There's strike 2.
Look at the movement on that pitch from Jim Johnson.
He has thrown 7 pitches. He has thrown 7 strikes. Outside, 1-2. 96-mile-an-hour fastball that darted outside.
This fastball's moving about a foot right now with great velocity.
And a bouncer. Roberts will charge in between hop. Gets it to first. And the Orioles win the opener in this critical 3-game series. It was an inning of rallies, a 6-run 4th and a 3-run 7th. And the Orioles win it. They have won back-to-back games. And on fireworks night, the Orioles get a win with 2 explosive innings. Our final score here tonight as the Orioles get the opener, helped out with a grand slam by Brian Roberts. Orioles 9 and the Athletics 7.